Chapter 111. On the way back from shopping, Baya wondered who she would report to if she were the village chief of Tangqian village to find the gold mine. It wouldn't be easy for a village chief to meet the mayor. At most, he would go to the town to respond. Then, the mayor would respond. In addition, Qingbin's secretary at the time should know about it too. Coincidentally, she had done a lot of research. She found out. The mayor at the time was now the mayor of Jinyang City. And Qingbin's secretary was now the governor of Jinyang State. The two of them had known each other for a long time. Before Qingbin's secretary was a secretary, he and the mayor used to be the mayor and the secretary of the town committee of another town. She guessed that the village chief had reported it to the mayor had told the secretary, and the secretary had told Qingbin. If all three of them knew, then they were accomplices. She was looking up information on the mayor of Jinyang City, Lu Liangqing. If she wanted to be promoted quickly, she had to make contributions. And these people had slaughtered villages, stolen wealth, and committed heinous crimes. Why were they still so famous? She wanted to trample on the sins of these people. There was a knock on the door. Baya closed the page and opened the door. Xing Jinyan stood at the door, a sinister smile on her face as she said arrogantly, "Come out for dinner. Don't say that we're mean to you. I'm sorry, I've already eaten outside. If there's nothing else, don't disturb me. I want to read tonight," Baya said coldly. Xing Jinyan stomped her feet. "Baya, don't be so shameless. My parents gave me my face. It's not something you can give me just because you want to." Baya closed the door and locked it. Xing Jinyan kicked the door angrily. She didn't look like a lady anymore. She had wanted to show off her affection in front of Baya. She hadn't expected Baya to not give her any face at all. "Dad, look, what does Baya mean? I invited her out for dinner out of goodwill, but she's not happy. Does she have any respect for you?" Xing Jinyan complained. "Ignore her. We don't have to invite her out for dinner in the future," Xing Bachuan said angrily. Su Jiran smiled and glanced at Baya's door. "I know Baya well. She has a twisted personality, but she's not a bad person. Sometimes, she's too stubborn and extreme. But she'll regret it after she's done. She's still a child. Don't be angry, uncle." Xing Jinyan was embarrassed. "Jiran, are you speaking for Baya?" "I'm just stating the facts. After all, you and her will always see each other. If you're angry, you won't be pretty anymore." "I hope that you'll always be pretty," Su Jiran coaxed. Xing Bachuan drank a mouthful of water. Jia Ran is right. After all, things are already like this. So, when are you guys getting married?" "Jiran," Su Jiran said, "Yeah, Jiran are, I have you." "Xing, yeah, Jiran is me. Jabai Su." Su Qin Xing Jinyan's face darkened even further, and he muttered softly, "I thought you've never touched Baya before. People don't know. Gossip is a fearful thing. Nian, I don't want you to get hurt. Plus, I've just been demoted from my position as the deputy director. Many people are watching me. I'm free now. Can I go overseas with you?" Su Jiran pulled Xing Jinyan into his arms. Xing Jinyan felt better when he heard that they were going overseas. He looked at Xing Bachuan. "Dad, it's not easy for Jiran to start a company. Can we just give him the land he wants?" Xing Bachuan nodded. "We'll do it according to the rules. Otherwise, people will think that I'm biased. It seems like I won't get any benefits from becoming Governor Xing's son-in-law," Su Jiran said jokingly. "Dad, I'm going to marry him. Can you bear to see me suffer with him?" Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. "There's a procedure, but no matter how complicated it is, people come up with it. There's always a way. Xing Bachuan coaxed Xing Jinyan and looked at Su Jiran. I won't participate in the bidding, but I'll tell you the other party's base price. The lowest bidder wins. Doesn't that still cost a lot of money? Xing Jinyan pouted and said unhappily. The country has a lot of projects that can be subsidized. I'll just sign here and you'll know how much you'll be subsidized, Xing Bachuan explained. Xing Jinyan smiled and hugged Xing Bachuan's neck. You're the best, Dad. Yes, I'm not good to you, Su Jiran said, going along with Xing Jinyan's tone. If you don't treat me better, I won't want you anymore. Xing Jinyan hugged Su Jiran's arm and looked at Chang Rian. Chang Rian cleared her throat and said, Xiaonian is too clingy. Why don't you stay here today? Anyway, you're already engaged. It's good to cultivate your relationship as soon as possible. Su Jiran pinched Xing Jinyan's nose. Little vixen, when the land is settled, we'll travel around Europe. Xing Jinyan smiled and looked at Bai Ye's door proudly. She was the daughter of a powerful official, and Bai Ye had nothing. How could she fight with her? In the next 2 months, Bai Ye locked herself in her room and studied hard. She didn't go out at all. She didn't know much about Lu Shuang, nor did she ask about Gu Lingqing. She quit her job at the hospital. No one asked her to stay, and no one stopped her. Occasionally, she visited Bai Bing once a month. After Su Jiran got the land, she went out with Xing Jinyan for a month. Bai Ye didn't care about what was going on outside. Under the intense study, she got first place in the written test and passed the interview. Today was her first day at the Discipline Inspection Office in City A. She put on light makeup. Because she didn't have work clothes yet, she deliberately wore a smart suit. Wearing the suit, she didn't need to dress up, and it outlined her perfect figure. Bai Ye came out of the room with her bag, and her waist was suddenly held. She turned around and looked at Su Jiran. Su Jiran pushed her into the bathroom next door. His eyes were sparkling, and he looked at Bai Ye, not hiding his surprise at all. His eyes fell on her rosy lips, and he said evilly, Bai Ye, you're so charming. Bai Ye remained cold. Let go. I miss you. Su Jiran said in a husky voice. He held her hand, pressed it against a certain part of his body, and kissed her lips. Bai Ye calmly took a photo with her phone. Su Jiran looked at her warily. Bai Ye smiled. Believe it or not, I'll send the photo to Xing Jinyan. Su Jiran leaned against the door, crossed his arms, and looked at her lazily. Send it, whatever. Bai Ye couldn't do anything to a person like Su Jiran. Aren't you worried that Xing Jinyan will find out about your dirty side and won't want you anymore? Actually, Xing Jinyan and I have been together for more than 3 months. I've been tired of her for a long time, and I want to find a reason to dump her. Why don't you help me think of one? Su Jiran brushed the hair in front of Bai Ye's forehead. Bai Ye pushed Su Jiran away, opened the door, and went out. Su Jiran followed her out. Xing Jinyan saw them walking together on the stairs, and he clenched his fists. Ever since Su Jiran and Bai Ye divorced, he had never touched her again. Even when they went on a vacation together, he was not interested in it. She begged him to do it a few times, but Su Jiran couldn't get out every time. He had to use his mouth and hands to settle it. For the past month, although Su Jiran had been sleeping in the same room with her, no matter how she seduced him, he wouldn't get big. She was jealous, and her blood was boiling. She couldn't just sit and wait. Didn't Bai Ye like Gu Lingqing? Chapter 112. Bai Ye left the house. Su Jiran held her hand and walked to his car. Bai Ye was annoyed. She shook off Su Jiran's hand and shouted, Su Jiran, what do you want? What do you want? You've been studying in your room these days. You've given up your major and career just to go to the Discipline Inspection Commission. Who do you want to discipline? Su Jiran asked tentatively. What are you afraid of? It's fine as long as it's not you, isn't it? Bai Ye's eyes were cold. You're not thinking of Su Jing, are you? Bai Ye turned her face away. Ha! Su Jiran chuckled and leaned against the car door. Bai Ye, you're ambitious. But don't you know that you're in a hopeless situation? Su Zheng is the head of the Discipline Inspection Commission. He can crush you with one word. Besides, his rank is not something that a small local discipline inspection commission can investigate. Don't be silly. Su Zheng and Gu Tianhang are two unshakable mountains. Su Jiran reminded her. I don't think I need to report to you what I'm going to do. Bai Ye turned around and was about to leave. Su Jiran held the back of Bai Ye's head and pulled her in front of him. He aimed at Bai Ye's lips and kissed her. Bai Ye was furious. She slapped Su Jiran's face. I'm telling you, I'll definitely succeed. Bai Ye said confidently and walked forward. Su Jiran wiped the corner of his mouth. He narrowed his eyes and frowned. Even though he had just touched Bai Ye's lips, he could feel a strong feeling in his body. He wanted her. Now, she only had a physiological reaction to Bai Ye. Bai Ye arrived at the Discipline Inspection Commission. She reapplied her lipstick in the washroom. There weren't many people in the Discipline Inspection Commission, so the director introduced her to his subordinates. She went through the pre-employment procedures and took the oath. Bai Ye didn't waste any time and went straight to the director's office. What's wrong? Bai Ye. The director looked at Bai Ye in confusion. I remember that the Commission for Discipline Inspection has a rule that allows cross-city and cross-provincial supervision, Bai Ye said. In order to prevent local officials from protecting each other, there is indeed such a rule. The director nodded and said. I want to be transferred to Jinyang City, Bai Ye said firmly. The bureau chief looked at Bai Ye and asked suspiciously, You want to go to Jinyang City so badly? Do you have any news? Bai Ye nodded. I have news. If I go to Jinyang City and make a contribution, it will also be considered as an achievement for the bureau chief, right? I don't have the final say on which province or city to supervise. I need to apply to the higher-ups. Also, I need to give a detailed reason for the specific province or city. Can you give me the reason? Who are you going to apply to? Su Jing. Bai Ye wasn't sure about the process. I don't need to apply to Deputy Chief Su. It's a director in the National Commission for Discipline Inspection. In other words, as long as the director gives his approval, I can go there directly. Bai Ye asked. Theoretically, yes. However, his rank is the same as your father's. He might not give face to your father. The director's words revealed that he knew Bai Ye's identity. I'll go out and make a call. Bai Ye nodded and walked out of the director's office. She had read a book before. There was a young man who was blocked by a huge rock. He pushed, pried, and smashed the rock, but he couldn't move it. In the end, he was at his wit's end and started asking for help from everyone he met. With the help of many people, the rock was finally moved. When one's life was in a hopeless situation and they couldn't solve it themselves, they would try their best to ask for help. Perhaps they didn't even know if the other party could help them, but at least they would ask for help. It was hope. Bai Ye called Song Shiyu. Previously, Song Shiyu said that she would make it up to her, but she rejected it. That was how people were. Sometimes, in the face of reality, one's backbone was like a fart. It was insignificant. Song Shiyu was surprised when she received Bai Ye's call. After all, Bai Ye had disappeared for 2 months. She got someone to check. Bai Ye had entered Xing Bachuan's house. She found out that Bai Ye had another identity. She was the daughter of Xing Bachwan's ex-wife. At the same time, she looked into Bai Ye's past. "Hello." Song Shiyu greeted her politely. "You once told me that if I needed help, I could look for you. Do you mean it?" Bai Ye asked uncertainly. "If it's within my ability," Song Shiyu promised. "I'm working in the Discipline Inspection Department now. I want to be transferred to the Discipline Inspection Department in Jinyang City. This needs a director in the Discipline Inspection Department. Can you help me talk to him?" Bai Ye asked calmly. "Sure, it's a small matter. I'll call you in the afternoon after I'm done," Song Shiyu agreed readily. "Thank you." Bai Ye was about to hang up. "Did Gu Lingqing contact you?" Song Shiyu asked immediately. Hearing the name Gu Lingqing, Bai Ye's heart still ached. She lowered her eyes and said calmly, "He won't contact me. Don't worry, Mrs. Gu. He must know that we kidnapped you. Now he ignores us, doesn't answer our calls, and doesn't even go home. Tian Hang went to the military to look for him, but he refused to see her. I heard that he went to take on a dangerous mission again. He's going to kill himself," Song Shiyu said worriedly. Bai Ye's heart ached even more. She closed her eyes and tears flowed down her cheeks quietly. If she hadn't been strong enough to know the news of Gu Lingqing's death, she wouldn't have lived alone. He was her strong, hardworking, and desperate motivation. "Mrs. Gu, there's nothing I can do." Bai Ye's words were still cold, without any warmth. "Moreover, I don't understand the meaning of your words. I misspoke. I'm sorry. I'll call someone for help now. I'll contact you later." As soon as Song Shiyu finished speaking, Bai Ye hung up the phone. She was caught off guard. It made sense. She had hurt the girl so deeply. What did she want Bai Ye to do now? Song Shiyu was reliable. At 11:00 in the afternoon, Bai Ye received a call from Song Shiyu. "They've agreed. You can ask your director to approve the application today. You can go to Jinyang City for discipline inspection tomorrow," Song Shiyu said with a smile. "Thank you." Bai Ye was still cold. She hung up the phone and went straight to the director's office. "Director, the higher-ups have agreed. You can apply now," Bai Ye said. The director didn't think that Xing Bachwan had the ability to get help from the higher-ups so quickly. This Bai Ye had a more powerful force supporting her than Xing Bachwan. He didn't want to offend Bai Ye and ruin his future, so he applied immediately. "I've contacted the director in Jinyang City. I'll ask someone to book a plane ticket for you now. Tomorrow, they'll send someone to pick you up. If there's any situation, report it in time. I'll try my best to cooperate with you," the director said politely. Bai Ye nodded and walked out of the director's office. She took the second step smoothly. Chapter 113. The director was very helpful and booked a 17:20 p.m. flight to Jinyang City for her. Bai Ye went back to the Xing family to pack her small luggage. Xing Jinyan didn't go to work today. When she saw Bai Ye dragging her luggage, she went forward to stop Bai Ye. "Where are you going?" "I don't need to report to you where I am going." "Get out of my way," Bai Ye said coldly. "Jiran is going to America for a business trip today. Are you going there too?" Xing Jinyan was suspicious and anxious. Bai Ye laughed. "Xing Jinyan, have you lost yourself? Where's your confidence? Where's your charm? Are you afraid that you, a rich missy, will lose to someone like me who has nothing?" "How could I lose my confidence? Jiran built a new company and gave it to me. I am the legal representative and the boss of the company. The company is valued at a few billion now. Why would I be afraid of losing to you?" Xing Jinyan said sarcastically. "I am just reminding you not to overestimate yourself. Then live your life well. Don't worry, as long as you don't target me, I have no interest in ruining your peaceful life. Baiya walked past Xing Jinyan and got into a taxi. Xing Jinyan was still worried. She drove and followed behind Baiya. Su Jiran was very nice to her. He gave her the company and doted on her. But Su Jiran didn't want to have sex with her. She always suspected that Su Jiran was having a good time outside. But when she asked someone to investigate, Su Jiran didn't have a girlfriend outside. She felt that the only person who could satisfy Su Jiran was Baiya. Xing Jinyan followed Baiya to the airport. She called Su Jiran. Jiran, are you at the airport? I'm on the way. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Why? Do you miss me? Su Jiran smiled devilishly. I want to go with you, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. Su Jiran's eyes flashed with irritation. Previously, when he was with Baiya, no matter what he did, Baiya would not question him. He didn't like being stared at or pestered by women all the time. Give him a little more time, and his plan will come true. Sure, I'll send someone to pick you up. Su Jiran looked out of the window with flagging interest. Moi. Xing Jinyan hung up the phone. She bought a hat, put on a pair of glasses, and stared at Baiya. Baiya was reading in the bookstore. She was flipping through the psychology of microexpressions and felt that it was a good book. After paying, she took the book and entered the cafe. She ordered a cup of Blue Mountain and watched quietly. Xing Jinyan saw that Baiya did not answer the phone, which meant that Su Jiran did not call her. Logically speaking, if Su Jiran and Baiya had made an appointment, he would definitely inform Baiya not to go since she had already said that she would come to the United States. It seemed that she was thinking too much. Why are you here? Su Jiran looked at the sneaky Xing Jinyan in surprise. When Xing Jinyan heard Su Jiran's voice, she smiled sweetly and took off her glasses. I wanted to give you a surprise. I'm sorry, I'm only surprised, not happy. My man has already gone to pick you up at home. If you're not at home, who will he pick up? Su Jiran was a little annoyed, and his tone became a little harsh. He dialed a number. You don't need to pick him up. From the corner of his eyes, he saw Baiya sitting in the cafe. The cafe was very romantic. There was a lamp in front of Baiya. The orange light of the lamp fell on her delicate face. Quiet shadow, auspicious and beautiful. Looking at it, it was like a light ink painting. A cold light flashed through Su Jiran's charming eyes. Now he knew why Xing Jinyan suddenly appeared at the airport and told him that she was at home. She was testing him. Su Jiran's lips curled up coldly. He looked at the idiotic Xing Jinyan. Are you still going to America? Yes, I want to go over and take care of you. Xing Jinyan held Su Jiran's arm. Su Jiran walked towards the ticket office. Subconsciously, he turned back to look at Baiya. She didn't notice them and was quietly reading her book. Something was flowing in his heart. Baiya arrived at Jinyang City at 18:30 p.m. Jinyang City's Discipline Inspection Commission sent someone to pick her up. It was a man and a woman who came to pick her up. The name tag was Baiya. Baiya walked towards them. Hello, I'm Baiya. I didn't expect Inspector Bai to be so beautiful. Our bureau chief has arranged a dinner. I'm going to bring Inspector Bai over now. I'm Yang Li, you can call me Xiao Yang. He's Yang Yen, you can call him Lao Yang. Baiya smiled. From now on, I'll have to trouble you guys. No, it's what I should do. I wonder who Chief Inspector Bai is investigating this time. Yang Li smiled and asked tentatively. I'm just looking around. It's a routine inspection. It's a normal procedure, Baiya looked at Yang Li and said. Yang Li's eyes were sparkling. I heard from the bureau chief that you came here from nowhere. We didn't know about it beforehand. We're guessing that you already have a target. Not yet. Maybe we'll find one as we investigate, Baya said ambiguously. They got into the car and went to the most unique restaurant in Jinyang City, Full Moon Restaurant. Our Full Moon Restaurant is the oldest restaurant in Jinyang City. There is a lianli tree in the restaurant. Its roots are intertwined. It has a history of hundreds of years. Many young men and women come here to make wishes. It is said that it is very effective. Inspector Bai is so young. I don't think she's married. Do you want to try? Yang Li said enthusiastically. Baya smiled. Tell me about the big cases you've solved in the past few years. I'm more interested in this. Prosecutor Bai is really a workaholic. Our Jinyang City is quite peaceful. The people are simple and honest. The people live and work in peace and contentment. It's a city with a slower pace of life. Oh yes, you just arrived. Let me introduce you to a few famous streets and scenic spots here. Yang Li looked outside. Baya nodded. She didn't force it. Yang Li was eloquent and smart. Her words and actions were flawless. No wonder the Jinyang Procuratorate sent her to pick them up. However, Baya vaguely heard some problems from her evasiveness and her deliberate avoidance of taboo topics. She didn't say anything. She looked at the ancient and mysterious Jinyang City with gloomy eyes. After driving for half an hour, they arrived at Full Moon Restaurant. There weren't many people in the private room. There were only 3 of them. Zhong Tong, the finance officer of the Jinyang Procuratorate. Li Yu, the judge of the Jinyang Procuratorate. Tsing Shuang, the disciplinary director of the Jinyang Procuratorate. Yang Li introduced them to Baya. There weren't many people here, but they were all the backbone of the Jinyang Procuratorate. Our bureau chief isn't here yet. Yang Li asked as she helped Baya to pull out the chair. The bureau chief is very busy. It's not like you don't know that. He'll probably be here in half an hour. Tsing Shuang smiled and explained. Then I'll bring Inspector Bai to the interlocking tree to make a wish. Yang Li pulled Baya to the interlocking tree in the courtyard. The interlocking tree was full of wooden signs. There were bells hanging under the wooden signs. There was a red light on the left of the interlocking tree and a street lamp on the right. Ah, the name on this person's wooden sign is the same as yours. Yang Li said excitedly. Chapter 114. Baya's heart skipped a beat as she looked at the wooden sign. There was no signature on the wooden sign, but the handwriting was strong. She could tell that it was Gu Lingqing's handwriting. He wrote it today, Yang Li said in surprise. Baya's eyes were covered with a layer of mist. She looked down, trying to hide the emotions in her eyes. What's wrong, Inspector Bai? Yang Li asked. Do you have a pen and a wooden sign? I want to be alone for a while. Baya tried to calm herself down. Oh, yes. Yang Li took out a pen and a wooden board from her bag and passed them to Baya. Baya sat under the tree and wrote on the board, I won't forgive you. Protect me. She didn't write a name or a date. She hung it next to Gu Lingqing's sign and stared at it. The 2 boards were leaning against each other, swaying with the wind. She didn't expect him to come to Jinyang City. Was he here to investigate Luliang City? When she returned to the office, Chief Jin of Jinyang City was already there. He was in his 50s, burly, and had a restrained smile. He extended his hand to Baya and shook it firmly. Welcome, leader. I don't deserve to be called a leader. The higher-ups asked me to come here to follow the procedure and cooperate with each other. Baya smiled. Prosecutor Bai is very young. How long have you been a prosecutor? Chief Jean asked. Age is not the key to ambition. You just need to have the heart to work in the discipline inspection, Bai said ambiguously. Yes, yes. Prosecutor Bai is indeed young and promising. We will definitely cooperate with you during the supervision period. Please take a seat. Chief Jean smiled. Actually, Bai's position was not high. She was just a soldier in the military flag, but a soldier could eat up the military flag. Although she was just an ordinary member of the Discipline Inspection Department, she would definitely be warmly received by the Discipline Inspection Department of another city and be treated like a queen. Her feedback was very important. Halfway through the meal, Chief Jean received a call. All right, that's good. You have to take good care of him. He's Deputy Chief Su's future son-in-law. In the future, you just have to say the word. All right, I'll come over now. When Bai heard the words Deputy Chief Su's future son-in-law, he clenched his cups so tightly that his fingernails turned white. Well, I'm sorry. I'll go over to propose a toast. Chief Jean raised his glass. Yang Li took advantage of the situation and held the bottle of wine. Chief, let me accompany you. Men and women work together, and it will not be tiring. Let's go together. Chief Jean walked in front of Wang Yao. Is Deputy Chief Su's future son-in-law Deputy Chief Gu's son? Zhong Tong asked Xing Shuaying. Yeah, I saw him on TV last time. He's very, very handsome. His facial features are absolutely beautiful. He's even better looking than the male lead in idol dramas. Most importantly, he has a good temperament and a strong aura. One look from him is enough to determine the outcome of a battle, Xing Shuaying said with admiration. No wonder that little girl, Yang Li, rushed to see it. Why don't we go and take a look as well? Prosecutor Bai, let's go together. Xing Shuaying raised her wine glass and suggested. Baiya's eyes were slightly red. No, I'm a little drunk. I want to go back and rest early. Go back and rest. Old Yang, you didn't drink. Send Prosecutor Bai back. Xing Shuaying instructed Yang Yan. Sure. Yang Yan picked up the clothes hanging on the chair. Remember to take good care of him, Li Yu instructed. Yes. Prosecutor Bai, let's go. Yang Yan led the way. Bai left with her head lowered. She still did not know how she should face Gu Lingqing if she saw him. She was afraid of hurting his heart, and even more afraid of hurting her own heart. Yang Yan sent Bai to the best 6-star hotel in Jinyang City. Your prosecutor's dormitory is so good. Bai was surprised as she got out of the car. You came in a hurry. Our prosecutor's dormitory doesn't have any empty rooms, so it's not appropriate for others to move in. This hotel has an agreement with our prosecutor's office, and the rent isn't expensive, Yang Yan explained. Bai was indeed a little tired. She didn't refuse and followed Old Yang into the hall. Old Yang showed his identification and said in a low voice, I'm from the Discipline Inspection Institute. I want a presidential suite. I don't need to register. I'll stay here for a month. Yes. The receptionist swiped the card and handed it to Yang Yan. She said respectfully, it's on the 18th floor, room 1829. Prosecutor Bai, it's done. This way please. Old Yang walked in front and reached the 18th floor. There was a special room manager on the 18th floor who was already standing at the elevator to welcome them. Room 1829, Old Yang said. This way please, the room manager said with a smile. She brought Bai to the room and pushed the door open respectfully. If you have any needs, you can call the internal line 1800. We will serve you 24 hours a day. There are specific service items on the bedside table in the room. You can tell us if you have any requests, the room manager said gently. Her voice was so pleasant that it made people feel as if they were immersed in spring. Thank you, Baya said. Then, Prosecutor Bai, I won't disturb your rest. I'll come to pick you up at 8 tomorrow, Yang Yen said with a smile. Baya nodded. Thank you. Yang Yan left with a smile and closed the door for Baya. Baya glanced at the presidential suite of the 6-star hotel. There were 3 rooms, a hall, and a sky garden. One room was for sleeping, one was for the bathroom, and the last was for the gym. There were fitness machines inside. There was no bed in the living room. There was a huge sofa. Opposite the sofa was a 72-inch HD TV. Beside the TV was a sound system. It was a host that could directly order songs. Behind the sofa was a wine cabinet. There were many expensive wines in the cabinet. The flowers in the room were picked in the morning and were very fresh. There was a computer in the bedroom and there were birth control products on the bedside table. On the side was a huge wardrobe. She realized that the bedroom and bathroom could be connected. The bathtub was very big, 2 meters by 2 meters. It was a hot spring style with a full massage. The cosmetics on the shelf were all Chanel brands. Usually, they were luxuries, but here, they were daily necessities. She took off her clothes and entered the bathtub. She chose the mist bath and massage function. The water vapor quickly filled the bathtub. She was submerged in the mist. The water column below her body was very comfortable. Baya understood why those rich people like to live in 6-star presidential suites. It was indeed a luxurious enjoyment. From the attitude of the Jinyang City Procuratorate towards her, she felt that there was a big problem with this procuratorate. Baya closed her eyes. In a daze, she heard the door close and opened her eyes. The bathroom door was pushed open. Gu Lingqing looked at her in the bathtub and was slightly shocked. His eyes were deep and moved like waves. He looked at her and said uncertainly, Baya. Chapter 115. Gu Lingqing confirmed that she was really Baya. His eyes darkened, as if the mist had condensed, dark and profound. How long had it been since he last saw her? 65 days. They met in summer, and when they met again, it was already late autumn. Are you okay? Gu Lingqing asked in a hoarse voice. When he asked, his voice was already choked. Baya unconsciously looked at his broken finger, and her eyes were a little wet. She didn't know how to hide her emotions now, so she turned her face away and said coldly, Is it appropriate to talk about the old days now? Don't fall into someone else's trap. I'm in. It's a trap, and I can't avoid it anymore. Gu Lingqing sat by the bathroom, staring at her, and didn't intend to leave. You've lost weight. Isn't it said that skinny beauty is popular? I think you look better when you're a little fatter. Gu Lingqing said lightly. Baya lowered her head. After all, she didn't wear clothes, and it was very uncomfortable to chat like this. With their current relationship, it was not appropriate to chat, let alone like this. I figured it out. Baya's eyes twinkled. I'll wait for you outside. Gu Lingqing turned around and went out. Baya smelled the strong smell of alcohol on him. She thought that this room was only for her, so she took off her clothes and didn't bring in a change of clothes. She stood up to get a bath towel. Gu Lingqing carried the suitcase in his hand, pushed the door open, and looked at her with his deep eyes. Baya was stunned in the distance. Gu Lingqing looked away. Baya didn't panic, and she didn't scream. Anyway, he had seen it before. She wrapped the bath towel around herself. Gu Lingqing carried her suitcase in. I found that you don't have a change of clothes. It's rude of me. Baya responded. Gu Lingqing closed the door. Asterisk when Baiya changed her clothes and went out, Gu Lingqing was standing by the window. His handsome face was reflected in the window. She saw the sadness in his eyes that he didn't hide. He also looked at her through the reflection of the window. However, when he turned around, he hid his emotions. I just called to ask. Because this room was requested by the procuratorate, it wasn't registered. The receptionist at the front desk changed and didn't know that this room was already occupied. They are now changing my room. It's next to yours, 1827. Gu Lingqing explained. Baiya looked down, quiet, and very distant. Gu Lingqing stared at her. His Adam's apple bobbed, and he swallowed his bitterness. His gaze deepened. How did you become a prosecutor? Gu Lingqing, Baiya looked up, her eyes lingering on his face, and said meaningfully, change your job, change your mood, change your environment, and change your life. He wanted to say, yeah, he. He had a lot of things to say to her, but they were all stuck in his throat. He's good. Xing Bachuan contributed a lot to becoming a prosecutor, being transferred here to be a supervisor, living in a luxurious house, and enjoying the flattery of others, Baiya said simply, with the corners of her mouth raised. She didn't want him to worry. Are you here to investigate Luliang City? Gu Lingqing asked directly. Baiya didn't deny it. I think he's one of the executioners who killed the villagers. Do you know why you can stay in such a good room? I'm already on their boat. They're setting a trap for me, Baiya guessed. She poured some water and saw that there was honey. She put the honey in and passed it to Gu Lingqing. You've drunk wine. Don't drink tea water. It's not good for your health. Water with some honey can relieve your headache, Baiya said. Gu Lingqing took the glass of water from Baiya, took a sip, looked at her, and said in a low voice after a few seconds of silence, since you know it's a boat, how are you going to escape? I think it's too dangerous. I can arrange for you to study in a hospital abroad and come back in 2 years. I should have solved everything by then. Solved what? Baiya also poured herself a glass of water and took a sip. 2 years later, she would still be an ordinary doctor. She didn't think that Gu Lingqing's family would accept her. Without Su Shaoling, there would be another Su Shaoling. You should know what I'm talking about, right? Gu Lingqing looked at her with burning eyes. Baiya's eyes became cold. She didn't look at him, but she said with certainty, I know what kind of life I want. Chief Gu, you're overstepping your bounds. You really don't plan for me anymore in your life? Gu Lingqing asked in a deep voice. Baiya's heart tightened, and she felt a little pain. She didn't answer him directly. She walked to the door, opened the door, and said resolutely, I'm going to sleep. Don't make people suspicious. 1 finger is the price, and I can't afford the consequences. Gu Lingqing frowned and walked out of the door. She looked calm, and her fists were clenched tightly. She walked out of her room. Baiya closed the door. He said that he would arrange for her to study abroad. He said that she would wait for him for 2 years. She understood his unspoken words. Baiya smiled, but tears rolled down her cheeks. Gu Lingqing, let alone 2 years, I will wait for you for 20 years. Asterisk she didn't sleep, but studied the history of Jinyang City on the internet. Jinyang City was an ancient city. In ancient times, this city was the imperial city of several emperors. There were several generations of history hidden under this ancient city. To put it bluntly, there were antiques everywhere under the ground. The whole city was full of antique flavor, and it was a tourist attraction. With the help of geologists, historians, and archaeologists, the country designated the Cultural Protection Area of Jinyang City. In the Cultural Protection Area, no one was allowed to dig. Outside the protection area, the economy could be developed vigorously. Bai Yi didn't think it was that simple. She checked and found that the hotel she stayed in belonged to the Jinyang city government. A city used such a luxurious hotel for the relevant people to live in for free. How much financial expenditure was it? Could it be that this was their nest? She should really be on the pirate ship. What should she plan for the next step? Bai Yi had a headache thinking about it. She walked to the sky garden. The moonlight was bright and cold. It passed through her clothes and fell on her skin. The coolness made her more rational. She saw something moving in the corner of her eyes. She looked to the right. There was a person, who seemed to have just woken up, climbing up from the ground. He was covered in blood, and there was a knife in his chest. He walked towards her. "Help me!" Bai Yi screamed, thinking that it was a prank. The man fell straight in front of Bai Yi, and his hand was still on Bai Yi's foot. She checked his breath. There was no breath. Gu Lingqing heard Bai Yi's voice. He rushed to the sky garden without thinking and crossed over. He didn't consider that it was the 18th floor. If he fell down, he would die. Chapter 116. No matter how rational Bai Yi was, it was too sudden. She was scared and held Gu Lingqing's hand. How could someone suddenly die here? Gu Lingqing's eyes tightened. He said urgently, "Someone is framing you." Bang, bang, bang. The door outside was knocked open. "Gu Lingqing, leave now. Otherwise, they will suspect that the person broke our relationship. If they want to blame someone, they can always find a pretext," Bai Yi said urgently. "Xiaoye, do you trust me?" Gu Lingqing asked coldly. "Yes," Bai Yi said without hesitation. The security guards of the hotel rushed in and went directly to the Airview Garden. "Sir, a dead person was found in the Airview Garden, but the murderer was not found," the security captain reported through the walkie-talkie. He frowned and glanced around the room. Then he ordered his subordinates, "Search my room." "What are you doing here?" Gu Lingqing walked in and said harshly. "There was a murder in this room. Irrelevant people should stay away from here," the security captain said angrily. Gu Lingqing narrowed his eyes. He grabbed the security captain's neck and pressed it against the door. A cold light suddenly appeared. The security captain didn't even have a chance to struggle. "Who are you to yell at me? If there was a murder, a security guard like you can't handle it, right?" Gu Lingqing said coldly. The security captain's face turned pale. Gu Lingqing shook off the security captain and made a phone call. He ordered, "Call the Jinyang Police Department. There was a murder in room 1829 of Jinyang Hotel. Tell them to come here in 30 minutes. Hearing Gu Lingqing making a phone call, the security captain's face turned even darker. "Sir, we didn't find the guest in this room," a subordinate of the security team reported. The security captain frowned. "Let's go out first." Gu Lingqing stood straight at the door. "It's better to wait for the police to come. We can talk about it together." 10 minutes later, Bai Yi came out of the elevator with her hair wet. She walked to the door and said in surprise, "Why are you in my room?" When the security guard saw Bai Yi, his eyes widened. He looked at the sky garden and then at Bai Yi. His eyes flickered and he lowered his head. "What happened?" The security director also came over. "Director, someone died in room 1829, but there's no murderer." "It's too strange," the security captain reported. The head of security glanced at Bai Yi and ordered, "Check the surveillance." Gu Lingqing narrowed his eyes. His gaze was sharp as he scrutinized the security director. "The police will handle this matter." The head of security immediately lowered his head. "Yes, yes." Half an hour later, the director of the Jinyang City Police Department, the investigation team, the hotel manager, the head of security, the captain, Gu Lingqing, and Bai Ye were all in the surveillance room. They looked at the video. Bai Ye checked in at 2012. Gu Lingqing entered Bai Ye's room at 2020 and left Bai Ye's room at 2030. The video was blank from 2110 to 2140. At 2141, the security guard rushed into Bai Ye's room and found someone dead. At 2151, Bai Ye came back. "Madam Bai Ye, what were you doing from 2110 to 2140? The police asked Bai Ye. "After Mr. Gu left, I was surfing the internet. Because I'm a prosecutor who was transferred to Jinyang City, I need to understand the culture of Jinyang City. You can check all the records of my surfing." At about 2130, I felt a little tired. I saw the hotel's garden and swimming pool on the hotel's website. I went down the stairs to the swimming pool, Bai Ye explained calmly. "The surveillance at the swimming pool should be separate, right?" the police asked the security director. "Yes, it's separate," the security director said and showed the video. Bai Ye appeared at the swimming pool at 2142. She swam 2 laps and left. "Why did you only swim 2 laps?" the police asked. "The water wasn't clean," Bai Ye said. "Police officer, please find the murderer. How could he die in my sky garden? It's too mysterious." "We will follow up on the details," the police said with a troubled look. The security director's face was pale. How could such a thing happen? "Didn't you notice that the surveillance was missing for half an hour?" the police asked the security director suspiciously. "Today, one of us is celebrating a birthday. So, we booked a room and had a birthday party at 1729. We registered it with my ID. I called the person on duty over to eat a cake and then went back to work," the security director explained. "Oh yeah, when we were in room 1729, we heard a woman scream in room 1829. So, I brought my men and rushed over immediately," the security director said. "What time was it when you heard the scream?" the police asked with a sharp sense of professionalism. "I took a look at my watch. I'm pretty sure it was at 2130. Also, I'm pretty sure it was a woman's voice." "All of us heard it," the security director said and looked at Bai Ye with a weird gaze. Bai Ye glanced at the security director. "You mean that I killed that man?" "Police officer, let me make an assumption. Let me assume this. The man came to find the white heroine at 2110, and the white heroine killed him within 20 minutes. Then, she screamed at 2130. We rushed in at 2041, and she rushed to the swimming pool at 2030 to create an alibi." Bai Ye laughed. "Come on, that man was strong and strong. Would I be his opponent? Also, I don't even know who he is. Why did he come to find me? Why would I kill him? What if you give him something like a drug first? It's also possible to kill him with one stab," the security captain said confidently. Gu Lingqing frowned, and a sharp light flashed across his eyes. The door was pushed open. His colleague from the forensics department came in and reported to the director, "We found a bottle of XXXX in the room. We're going back to dissect the body to determine if he died from a dagger or poison." "See, I told you." The security director stood up excitedly. "You mean she killed someone and purposely screamed to lure you over?" Gu Lingqing said coldly. "She purposely created an alibi," the security director said with certainty. "If she could even create an alibi, why would she purposely leave the poison behind? Also, I heard the scream next door at 2139. It doesn't match with the 2130 that you said. Also, I heard the scream not long after that. About 1 or 2 minutes later, I heard the sound of the door next door being slammed. Why did you lie? Are you the murderer?" Gu Lingqing questioned. The security director's face turned pale. He argued, "Maybe my watch is broken. Chapter 117. I'm not lying, I'm not. The security captain opened his eyes wide and promised the police. He turned his eyes and pointed at Gu Lingqing. I know why you framed me. It must be that you and Madame Bai had an affair, and someone saw it. So, you decided to kill her. Are you a mad dog? You bite anyone you see, Bai said angrily. Gu Lingqing calmed down a lot. Please use your logic to think normally. If it's a murder, there's no need to prepare poison. With my skills, I can do it without anyone noticing. Why would you find out? Gu Lingqing said sarcastically. By the way, I understand. You must have fed him the poison first. He didn't die, so you stabbed him. Ms. Bai is timid and screamed. She screamed. It only took you 1 minute to catch up from the 17th floor. You said you heard the time was 30 minutes, and it was 41 minutes when you came in. Excuse me, what were you doing in the past 11 minutes? Gu Lingqing looked at the hotel manager coldly. Besides me, there are other people in room 1729. Is there anyone living near room 1829? I'll check. The hotel manager was trembling. Follow 3 police officers. If there's anyone nearby, bring them here for questioning. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. He looked at the security captain sharply. The security captain had nowhere to retreat. He ordered the director, give me an interrogation room. I think the murderer has been identified. I'm not the murderer. Even if you're a high-ranking official, you can't simply frame people. The security captain looked at the director. The director's face was pale. If you have anything, just confess. Don't frame the innocent. Ms. Bai is innocent. You'll kill many people. Gu Lingqing frowned. He knocked on the table with his well-defined hands. He looked at the director slowly and curled his lips. The director felt a chill down his spine. His hands were trembling. After a while, the police brought the guests from rooms 1727 and 1731 over. I don't remember the time, but I heard a woman scream and the sound of the door knocking. The interval was less than 2 minutes. The guest from room 1727 said. I remember that the door was knocked on at 21:41. I took a look at the time, and I also heard the woman scream. It was probably the guest in room 2. The security captain slumped on the chair and lowered his head. There's no need to interrogate him. I killed him. He's the curator of the cultural center. I owe him 200,000 yuan. I lost it in gambling. I arranged to meet him in room 1929. When I saw that we were almost at the hotel, I encouraged the director to invite my colleagues from the monitoring room over for cake. I took the opportunity to go out and cut the surveillance camera. I poisoned him, but I was afraid that he wasn't completely dead, so I stabbed him again. Then, with his body tied up, he fell to room 1829. Then, I went to the security room to restore the monitor. I pretended that nothing had happened and returned to room 1729. As soon as I got in, I heard a scream from the 2nd floor. I took my men and dashed to room 1829. I wanted to frame the guest there. I asked my colleagues to check the room and took the opportunity to put the poison in the wine cabinet. The plan is flawless. Take him away. Gu Lingqing nodded and glanced at the door. Chief Gu, you're amazing. It's so flawless. It took you less than an hour to complete such a meticulously planned case, the director complimented. Gu Lingqing pursed his lips, and his eyes were filled with hidden emotions. The case wasn't solved, but the security captain was the scapegoat, and the murderer was still at large. Ms. Bai, right? I still have some doubts that I want to ask you. Come with me, Gu Lingqing said harshly and walked out of the door. It was cold outside, and no one was allowed to enter. Baiya lowered his head and followed behind Gu Lingqing, getting into his black Hummer. Xiaoya, you can't stay here. It's too dangerous, Gu Lingqing said urgently as soon as he got in the car. I'm not afraid of danger. Haven't you seen it yet? Today's trap was set up for you. The security captain and security director were all involved. Who's the person above them? Who's the one hiding behind them? We don't know. If I wasn't here today, you would have been locked up for murder. Gu Lingqing's eyes were red. Baiya was a little scared when she thought of it now. Fortunately, Gu Lingqing took her away from the sky garden and put her down with a rope. If she was caught on the scene, there was poison as evidence. She couldn't explain herself. I'll be more careful in the future. I won't let them take advantage of me again. Baiya promised. It's impossible to guard against. Gu Lingqing approached Baiya. He put one hand on the side of her head, enveloped her in his breath, and looked at her with burning eyes. Baiya, tell me, what do you want? I'll give it to you. You can leave here, be your doctor, or go abroad. Don't let me worry, Gu Lingqing said seriously. The pressure was very strong, and no one could refuse. Can you really give me what I want? Baiya gritted her teeth and asked with resentment. Her eyes were as red as blood, staring at him. I can even give you my life, Gu Lingqing promised. His eyes were firm. The fog spread in her eyes. Her heart hurt, as if a thorn had drilled into it. She would hurt if she touched it. She didn't want his life. She only wanted him. That was her plan. She would be a prosecutor first. She had Xing Bachuan and Song Shiyu as her backstage. As long as she made contributions, she could be promoted step by step. She was risking her life. She wanted to enter the cabinet and have an important position. That way, she could easily stand by his side. Even if she was not qualified to be his wife, at least she could stand close to him. She knew that if that day came, she would have to spend a very, very long time and put in a lot of effort. However, it was still better than doing nothing. She could go abroad and escape all the suffering. She had left him a mess to clean up. If she was lucky, he would marry her after he succeeded. She would sit on his blood and enjoy his achievements and glory. Baiya, who didn't do anything, wasn't worthy of his love and effort. If she was unlucky, he wouldn't succeed. They would miss each other forever. She didn't even have the luxury of seeing him. She didn't care what the future would be. At least she worked hard now. When she died in the future, at least she would have a clear conscience. She didn't let him down. There are things that I should do and things that I shouldn't do in life. I'll do what I think is right. Retreating is not something that I, Baiya, will do. If I die in the hands of those people one day, use legal means to take revenge for me. Baiya pushed the door open with tears streaming down her face. Gu Lingqing held her hand and pressed her against the chair. His hard chest pressed against hers. Baiya saw the panic and pain in his eyes. He was always cold, sharp, and a man of steel, but in front of her, he showed his soft side. Chapter 118. Baiya looked at him with reddened eyes. His handsome face was reflected in her eyes. She didn't like him. She loved him. She had never liked someone so much. She wanted to give her all for him and do her best to be with him. Whether I like him or not, it won't change our relationship, Baiya said rationally. So, Xiaoya, you like him, right? Gu Lingqing held her hand tightly. Her answer was very important to him. It was a ray of light in his gloomy life. Baiya's eyes flickered. She didn't answer. Gu Lingqing was excited. He kissed her on the lips. His kiss was very deep and fierce. It was as if he had integrated all his thoughts for the past 2 months into this kiss. Her heart was bitter and sour. He lifted her chin and kissed her again and again. She knew that she should reject him. She should be stubborn. She should follow the path that she had planned. But her heart softened. Some emotions and desires couldn't be controlled by reason. Baya held his arm tightly. She closed her eyes and didn't kiss him back. But she didn't push him away. She felt his breath on her face. It was unyielding, yet it was cold and clear. She really, really, really liked him. She liked his preference for her. She liked the wooden sign he wrote. Even his kiss, she liked it. Unconsciously, she touched the spot where his finger was cut off. Her heart was stabbed by something. It hurt very much. She couldn't fall. She pushed him away and met his clear eyes. "I'm going in. Do you still want to stay?" Gu Lingqing frowned and looked at her. "Gu Lingqing, what does the Baya you like look like?" Baya asked. Her tears fell. He lowered his head and kissed her tears. It was salty. He pressed the back of her head and pressed his forehead against hers. 3 years ago, he touched her. He found out about her information and understood her past. Heartache and pity stayed in his heart. In the past 3 years, he thought of her occasionally. She and her husband should be happy. She was so beautiful, so strong, so independent and smart. Until a few months ago, he received a request for backup from the armed forces. They didn't say it clearly. He thought that the hostage was Baya, so he came personally. When he came, he found out that it wasn't Baya, but her husband's past woman. He felt that she was his responsibility. If her husband didn't treat him well, he would want to replace her. The more he interacted with her, the more he liked her. What he didn't expect was that his love for her would force her into another desperate situation. He wanted to be strong, so strong that no one could restrain him. "You don't have to do anything. I'm the one who wants to be what Baya likes." Gu Lingqing's voice was choked up. Yeah, Baya looked at him with red eyes. "Go and do what you want to do, don't worry about me. Maybe, if you don me, I'll have some breathing room. You'll wait for me, right?" Gu Lingqing wasn't sure. He was confident, flamboyant, domineering, and sharp. Except for his feelings for her. He was afraid that she would give up easily. "Time won't stop at this moment. Even if we get married, there will be a divorce. Only a lifetime is the longest confession. Don't make promises easily, I don't make promises easily." Baya opened the car door and got out. Gu Lingqing punched the door hard. "Time won't stop at this moment. Even if we get married, there will be a divorce. Only a lifetime is the longest confession." Was she hinting at something? Baya went back and stayed in room 1829. Running away wasn't a solution. If those people wanted to deal with her, even if she stayed in another room, they would still do it. She needed this room to remind her that she wasn't safe. What she had to do was to protect herself. It was obvious that someone wanted to harm her. There were people here who didn't want her to be there. She couldn't rule out the possibility of collusion. Baya's phone rang. She opened it and saw that it was from Gu Lingqing. "Tomorrow, I will send someone to protect you. They will come in the name of B City's Procuratorate to assist and cooperate with you." This message was like a boulder, fiercely striking her heart. Her heart was trembling violently. After Gu Lingqing sent the message, he walked to the bathroom. Since he told her to leave and she didn't want to leave, then he would do his best to let her do what she wanted to do. Gu Lingqing walked to the bathroom. He heard some sounds, turned around, and walked quickly to the sky garden. Baya had just crawled over. His eyes were flickering, and his voice was hoarse. He couldn't suppress his excitement. Xiaoya. Baiya rushed towards Gu Lingqing, hugged his waist, buried her face in his chest, and cried. His text message had destroyed all the pretense and defenses she had put up for the past 2 months. Actually, she really, really missed her. Gu Lingqing's eyes were also misty. He hugged her tightly and put her on the bed. The lamp on the bedside table emitted a faint light that enveloped the two of them. There was a faint warmth, but also a faint sadness. Gu Lingqing's kisses fell on her body. She wrapped her arms around his waist and pulled him in front of her. When he went in, she felt a little pain and frowned slightly. His breathing was heavy. He lifted her chin and looked at her with a burning gaze. He kissed her lips again and again. Comforting her was very useful. She became more and more emotional. She was like a beautiful rose in the morning, blooming under his nurturing. Afterwards, she didn't leave. She lay on his arm and enjoyed the warmth at this moment. Why are you here? Is it official business or private business? Where are Lieutenant Colonel Shang and the others? You didn't bring them. Gu Lingqing placed his palm on her lower abdomen and explained patiently, I have official business in the neighboring city. I'm here for private business. I think the massacre of Tangqian village is related to Luliang city. He was the mayor back then. Moreover, ever since the massacre of the village, he was promoted quite quickly. It should be because of the benefits. Chief Chen of the armed forces here used to be my comrade. I entrusted him to help me investigate. So, I had a meal with him at the Full Moon restaurant. I didn't expect to meet you here. Baiya turned her head to look at him, her eyes sparkling. Are you going to forget me? Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth and looked at her with a burning gaze. Many times, I wanted to look for you. Didn't you say that you wouldn't forgive me? I went to look for you, but I was afraid that you would be in danger. My greatest protection for you was to let you go. So, we should never see each other again, right? Baiya choked with sobs. She turned her back, tears flowing down her cheeks. Chapter 119. And Baiya replied. After resting for a while, she went back to her room. The more people there were, the more mouths there were. They were being watched again, so it was better to be careful. She had just laid on the bed when a message rang. Baiya saw that it was from Gu Lingqing. What are you doing? Baiya smiled, revealing a sincere smile. For the past 2 months, I'm going to sleep. What about you? That's true, together. Baiya fell asleep with her phone in her hand. When she woke up and opened her eyes, the sky was already very bright. She looked at the time. 10:00. She was late. She got up, brushed her teeth, washed up, put on makeup, changed into a suit, and went out. She passed by room 1827. The door was tightly shut. Gu Lingqing should have left. She went down to the hall and Yang Yan was already there. Baiya nodded politely, I woke up late. Sorry for making you wait. It's okay, I heard that there was a murder case in your room last night. I didn't expect the security captain of this hotel to be such a person, he almost harmed prosecutor Bai, Yang Yan said. Let's go, Baiya said calmly and walked in front. They got into the car. Yang Yan turned on the radio, which was broadcasting the real-time traffic. Baiya looked out of the window. How long is Prosecutor Bai planning to stay? Yang Yan asked. I don't know, it shouldn't be long. After all, my family is in a city. Baiya wanted to let their guard down. Yang Yan's lips twitched, there's something that's been spreading in the procuratorate. If Prosecutor Bai hears about it, don't be at ease. Baiya looked at Yang Yan, what is it? Yang Yan wanted to say something but stopped. They said that Prosecutor Bai entered the discipline inspection through the back door, the people above are not small. I got first place in the written test. With my image, I shouldn't be unable to pass the interview. As for the people above, they are indeed not small. Bai said meaningfully. Yang Yan's expression turned ugly. Now, everything depends on relationships. If you don't have any connections, you can only work at the bottom for the rest of your life. Bai said nothing. Previously, she thought that Su Jiran relied on his ability to become the deputy director of the health bureau, but now she knew the relationship between Su Jiran and the president. If it weren't for Gu Lingqing who exposed him, Su Jiran would have become the director of the sanitary bureau in no time. After that, he became the deputy mayor, deputy governor. Step by step, he walked to the side of the president and became the president's right-hand man. The car drove for half an hour before arriving at the prosecutor's office. The Jinyang City Procuratorate was 27 stories high. Its exterior looked bright, beautiful, and magnificent. Is your procuratorate newly built? Bai asked, and followed Yang Yan in. Yeah, I was in the old city district before. I only moved to the development zone the year before last. Yang Yan looked at the time on his wrist. Now, let's get to know our colleagues in the procuratorate. After that, it's time to eat. I heard that there will be a prosecutor coming from B City today. When did our Jinyang City become so popular? Don't be too nervous, it's just a routine matter. Bai followed Yang Yan into the office and met his colleagues from the inspection team. What cases are you guys following now? Bai asked. His colleagues looked at each other, not daring to answer casually. Prosecutor Bai is really serious and responsible. It's almost time for dinner. Little Yang went to pick up the prosecutor from B City. Let's eat together first, we'll talk during dinner. Yang Yan said perfunctorily. Alright, I have to do my work and eat. However, I have to do something today, otherwise I won't be able to explain it to the higher-ups. I think my performance yesterday wasn't good, so the higher-ups sent someone from B City over. Bai joked. Yang Yan's expression turned even worse. So you guys really have a target this time. Indeed. Let's eat first. We'll talk about work in the afternoon. Bai threw Yang Yan's perfunctory words over. Asterisk at the dinner party, she met the prosecutor from B City, Zhou Min. Her skin was dark, her hair was short, and she was thin and small. However, her eyes were sharp. She didn't speak much, and when she did, she only said a few words. She was very straightforward. Bai was probably a special forces soldier planted by Gu Lingqing. During the meal, there were a few awkward moments. At the end of the meal, Zhou Min said to the bureau chief in a serious tone, I have a mission here. I hope you will cooperate with me completely. Yes, of course. However, what is your mission this time? The bureau chief asked with a smile. The higher-ups want to capture someone. It's not convenient for me to reveal the details. Just submit the information according to my requirements. Zhou Min said coldly. Alright, since the higher-ups want to take him, we will definitely cooperate fully. The bureau chief promised. Zhou Min looked at Bai. You are the prosecutor from a city, right? I heard that you are currently living in a 6-star hotel suite. I will move to your place later and work together in the future. The faces of the bureau chief and the others all turned white. It seemed that their every move and action was being watched by the higher-ups. He didn't even dare to make any small moves. Asterisk Yang Yan and Yang Li sent Zhou Min and Bai to the hotel. Yang Li was still very lively along the way. Bai would even smile and occasionally say some gentle words. Zhou Min pursed her lips and stared at Yang Li. Her eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. Do you guys belong to the same higher-ups? Yang Li asked with a smile. Be serious. What's so funny? Prosecutor Bai and I are both from the procuratorate, and we have our own missions. The people above us are different, and we don't know anything. Stop trying to pry, or you might be the first to be dealt with, Zhou Min said sternly. No matter how good Yang Li's mental fortitude was, she was still defeated. She didn't say anything else and didn't even get off the car after sending them to the hotel. Yang Yan laughed dryly. Little Yang is still young, so it's hard to avoid talking too much. Please forgive me. It doesn't matter if you talk too much, but I'm afraid you don't have a brain. Zhou Min coldly entered the room. It's fine, Prosecutor Zhou is more strict. Bai patted Yang Yan's shoulder and comforted him. Okay, you guys rest first. I'll come pick you guys up at 2:30 in the afternoon. Yang Yan nodded and left. Bai entered room 1829 and closed the door. Zhou Min took out an iPad from the box. Open it. The iPad beeped. There were a total of 6 red dots flashing on the screen. Bai frowned. Zhou Min pressed a button, and the 6 red dots turned into green dots. She put down the iPad, saluted respectfully to Bai, and reported expressionlessly, I'm number 1666 from the Special Military Region. The leader ordered me to protect your safety and wait for your instructions. This room has already been installed with surveillance cameras and wiretaps. Do you want to clean it up immediately? Oh, clean it up. Bai didn't get used to it for a moment and said. Bai's phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingqing's and immediately answered. Did you see her? Number 1666. Chapter 120. I saw it. It's very harsh, Bai said with a smile and looked at Zhou Min. Zhou Min flipped through it quickly. When she removed the other party's surveillance, she put in new surveillance and anti-surveillance equipment. Don't worry. Number 1666 has the strongest comprehensive ability. If you have anything, you can ask her to do it, Gu Lingqing said gently. Yes, I know, Bai replied and walked to the Sky Garden. When you investigate, don't look for the people from the Procuratorate. I suspect that someone from the Procuratorate is colluding with them, Gu Lingqing said suspiciously. I also suspect that. For example, Yang Li and Yang Yan have been asking around along the way. It's normal to ask around. After all, you and Zhou Min went too suddenly. They will be worried about themselves. I think that the problem is with the director. I've given you a team. You just need to instruct number 1666 and she will contact them to do things. Bai's heart softened when she heard that. He wrote on the wooden sign that he would protect her. It seemed like he had always been protecting her. Where are you now? Bai asked gently. In the city next to yours. I've already talked to Director Qin of the Armed Forces. He will be your strong support. Whatever you want to do, don't worry. Be bold and do it. I'm here. You be careful too. Your mother said that you're starting to take on dangerous missions again. I'm worried about you. Ha, it's not a dangerous mission. It's just something I should do. Do you remember the soldier who lost his leg? Gu Lingqing asked. Yes, the one whose wife wants a divorce. He was injured in a drill. There were many people injured at that time, but his injury was the most serious. I investigated for a long time and found the person who sold this batch of firearms. I'm negotiating now. Bai listened. She felt that what he was doing was much more dangerous than what she was doing. Don't let anything happen to you. If something happens to you, I won't live alone. Gu Lingqing smiled. Yes, with you here, I don't want anything to happen to me. Bai's face was slightly red. They were all working hard. This feeling was quite good. Then I'll go do something first. Good luck. Good luck. I'll come to see you in 2 days. Gu Lingqing's tone became much softer. Don't, it's not good if your parents and Su Shaoling find out. I can afford to wait for 2 years. Bai Ye is worried about him and herself. The broken part of her little finger hurts faintly. If he were to be discovered by them again, the consequences would not be as simple as a severed finger. Gu Lingqing's eyes were deep and gloomy as he hung up the phone. Sir! Lieutenant Colonel Shang shouted. Gu Lingqing closed his eyes. Continue. The special effects makeup artist continued to stick on his mustache. In the afternoon, Bai Ye and Zhou Min went to the procuratorate. She flipped through the cases handled by the procuratorate in recent years. Most of them were small economic cases. They had their eyes on a few state-owned enterprises, and every year, they would arrest a few people to meet the target. These cases were of no practical help to her. Where's the report letter? Show me this year's report. Bai Ye looked at Tsing Shuaying. Tsing Shuaying's assistant brought over a pile of letters. Bai Ye and Zhou Min flipped through the letters. Most of them were trivial matters. Some reported their neighbors for stealing electric cables, some reported their girlfriends for cheating on them, and some reported their leaders for asking them to work overtime. Bai Ye scanned through the letters for 2 hours. She looked at Tsing Shuaying. Is that all? That's all. Jinyang City is actually quite peaceful. There's no corruption, or major incidents, Tsing Shuaying said with a smile. Don't give me that cheeky look, Zhou Min said sternly. Tsing Shuaying looked at Zhou Min, and her face darkened. Bai Ye smiled. It's a good thing that there are no major incidents. You have to meet the target, and so do we. I'm just afraid that the boss won't dare to speak up. How about this, starting from tomorrow, we will place anonymous report boxes in every market in Jinyang City. Is that okay? That's not good. It will make people anxious, Tsing Shuaying rejected. Cut the crap. Just do it. We're doing it for the benefit of the people. What do you mean by anxious? You're just refusing to cooperate. Are you the problem? Zhou Min stared at her and scolded. Tsing Shuaying was really angry, but she dared not speak up. All right, we'll do as you say. Bai Ye was worried that the prosecutor's office would stop the residents from reporting. She personally went to every district and made them fill in the notice. She also arranged for people to protect every report box. The task of collecting letters had to be done personally. In a day, there were more than 1,000 letters. Bai Ye and Zhou Min handled the letters and sorted out the problematic ones. Prosecutor Bai, look at this. This report says that the mayor of Jinyang City is colluding with the developers to demolish their villages and dig up their treasures, Zhou Min said. Bai Ye took the letter from Zhou Min's hands. Finally found it. There's indeed a problem with Luliang City. He's the mayor here to dig up cultural relics and sell them or collect them for money. Previously, the cultural center's director was murdered. It might be related to this. Bai Ye analyzed. Are we going to search Luliang City's house now? Zhou Min asked. Why would he leave the items in his house? Searching a mayor's house with this anonymous report will not only not find anything, but it will also alert the enemy. Let's continue to look around. Once we get the evidence, we can proceed with the next step. Knock, knock, knock. Someone knocked on the door. Zhou Min opened the door. Yang Li came in with 2 cups of milk tea. She smiled and asked Bai Ye. Do you need my help? No need. Go and do your work. Zhou Min said sternly and was about to close the door. Milk tea, milk tea. I bought it especially for you. Yang Li placed the milk tea on the table and glanced at the table before leaving. Zhou Min closed the door and threw the milk tea into the trash can. You have a guilty conscience. Zhou Min, what do you think about starting from the antique dealer? Bai Ye thought and asked. Sure. We can't go out. We are being watched. Let your comrades help. Bai Ye ordered. Yes. After being busy for 5 days, there were many reports. Bai Ye drew a relationship map based on the content of the letters. Luliang City had an archaeology team. They studied the history and culture of Jinyang City and looked for possible ruins. Xinjiang Construction Company was a construction company closely related to Luliang City. Luliang City sold the land that might be ruins to this construction company at a normal price. This construction company was developing on the surface, but they were secretly excavating cultural treasures. Could it be that the location of Tangqian Village's treasure map was in Jinyang City? Bai Ye went back to the hotel with doubts. Zhou Min said she wanted to buy some clothes. When she returned to the room, she was grabbed by a strong arm. Chapter 121. Bai Ye was pleasantly surprised. Why are you here? I'm passing by. I have something to do in the neighboring city tonight, Gu Lingqing explained. She was wondering why Zhou Ji suddenly wanted to buy clothes without her. It turned out that Gu Lingqing was coming. I've made a lot of progress. I've already put the people who smuggled the antiques under surveillance. As long as we catch them one by one, we'll be able to catch the people from Xinjiang Construction Company. Then, someone will be able to rule Luliang City. If we catch Luliang City, we might be able to solve the case of the village massacre, Bai Ye said happily. Zhou Min reported to me. I think that even if someone accused Luliang City, he might not admit to the massacre of the village. One is to go to jail, the other is to be sentenced to death. He is not stupid, unless he finds that gold bar. Gu Lingqing analyzed. I hope we can find the evidence as soon as possible and then we can arrest him. Have you eaten? Bai Ye asked with concern. Gu Lingqing tapped her nose. I want to see you. I'll be leaving in a while. Bai Ye's eyes dimmed. Even if he hadn't eaten, he couldn't eat with her. You don't have to come if you're in a hurry. I understand that you have something to do. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth. It would take him 4 hours to get there. At most, he would only have an hour to reunite with her. But, he still came. You've lost weight. Why don't you eat more? There are many things that can't be rushed. Take it slow. Since there's a problem in Jinyang City, the calmer you are, the more anxious those who have done wrong will be, Gu Lingqing analyzed. I'm indeed anxious. So, I'm here to tell you a piece of good news. It's unexpected, but reasonable, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. What good news? Do you still remember when I thought there was something wrong with the head of security? Gu Lingqing reminded her. There's definitely something wrong with that head of security. He's in cahoots with the head of security, Bai Ye said with certainty. Gu Lingqing passed her a photo. In the photo, the head of security took a man wearing sunglasses and a box of money. Who is this man? Why would he pay the security director? Bai Ye was surprised. The manager of Xinjiang Construction Company, Gu Lingqing said. Bai Ye came to a sudden realization. So, Lu Liangqing felt guilty and got the manager of Xinjiang Construction Company to deal with me. This manager got the security director to frame me. Why didn't they just kill me? They didn't dare to kill you directly because they suspected that there was someone behind you. In addition, the fact that your father is Xing Bachuan has also made them wary. They're framing you on purpose. Firstly, they don't want you to investigate. Secondly, they want to know who's behind you and who's going to help you, Gu Lingqing analyzed. This person is quite thoughtful, but these photos alone can't directly prove that this matter is related to the murder of the cultural center's director and framing me. Bai Ye frowned. Do you still remember what the security director said to the security captain? His words were full of warning. I'll get someone to protect the security captain's wife and children. Sure enough, in the middle of the night, someone went to arrest the security captain's wife and son. The kidnappers were taken into custody. Today, when they saw these photos, they confessed that it was the security director who ordered them to do it. I asked the security captain's wife to visit the security captain today. The security captain admitted that it was the security director who ordered him to do it. After it's done, he'll be paid 200,000 in cash as a reward, Gu Lingqing explained. Then we can arrest the security director now. As long as he confesses to the manager, we might be able to solve this big case soon. Bai Yi was happy. She didn't expect that he had done so much for her in the past 5 days. Not yet. You have to be patient. We have to find the evidence between Xinjiang Construction Company and Lu Liangqing first. Otherwise, we can only stop at the manager's side. We won't be able to implicate Lu Liangqing. Bai Yi nodded. Since Lu Liangqing is doing these illegal things, his money should be unclear. The main thing is to find out where he hid his money or antiques. Then, we can punish him. My men have been following Lu Liangqing for a few days. He's a watertight person. He never participates in business gatherings, and he doesn't have any bad habits. It'll be hard to break through. No, Bai Yi suddenly had an idea. She interrupted Gu Lingqing. He has a hobby. It's either treasures or antiques. Do you remember the treasure map from last time? I think we can use the treasure map to lure the snake out of its hole. Lu Liangqing will definitely be very interested. Smart. I'll arrange for someone to come over and give you an answer within a week. Bai Yi pursed her lips and stared at him. She was silent for a while. Gu Lingqing hugged her waist and pulled her into his arms. What's wrong? I wanted to be a prosecutor. That way, I can stand in a place of authority. In the end, I've been doing nothing for the past 5 days. I even alerted the snake. If it wasn't for you, I might need a few years to break into Lu Liangqing. Dreams are beautiful, but reality is really cruel. Bai Yi said dejectedly. Gu Lingqing smiled. What I've done is equivalent to what you've done. Tang Xiaojiu's death is more or less related to us. Since I promised him, I'll work hard with you. Our goals are the same. Actually, my goal isn't that simple. I want to get promoted as soon as possible through meritorious service. Bai Yi revealed her desperation. It's the best of both worlds. Why not? Whatever you want, I'll help you achieve it. What you want is what I want too. I think this is good. You're in the light, and I'm in the dark. When I get the evidence, I'll still need you to do a public trial. Being able to work with you like this makes me feel very carefree. Bai Yi thought about it. It seemed to be the case. Then her decision was not wrong. She smiled too. Gu Lingqing leaned over and kissed her on the lips. Bai Yi dodged and cleared her throat. There's a surveillance camera in the room. I'll turn it off. Gu Lingqing smiled. What are you thinking about? Bai Yi thought that he wanted to have sex with her. She blushed. Nothing. Don't think about it. Let's do it. He carried her and walked to the bathroom. Happy days were short and beautiful. Gu Lingqing didn't have much time. It was already late when he got back. His speed was above 160 kilometers per hour. There was a knock on the door. Bai Yi thought it was Shou Min, so she opened the door. Su Jiran stood at the door with a devilish smile on his face, but his eyes were extremely cold. Bai Yi quickly closed the door. Su Jiran pushed the door open. She was not as strong as him, so she was in a stalemate with him. Su Jiran looked at Bai Yi strangely. His eyes were very deep and he said expressionlessly, Baya, do you know who the man who raped you 3 years ago was? Baya paused and looked at Sujiran. Who was it? Her heart was filled with hope. Chapter 122. Sujiran came in from the door and sat on the sofa lazily. He looked at her deeply. What will you do when you know who raped you? Who is it? Baya couldn't stay calm anymore. Her eyes were bloodshot. She wanted to know where her child had gone. Sujiran twitched the corner of his mouth. Sleep with me and I'll tell you who it is. Baya picked up the fruit plate on the coffee table and smashed it on Sujiran's body. She roared, Get lost. Sujiran held her hand forcefully and pulled her to his side. If Gu Lingqing can sleep with you, why can't I? Has Gu Lingqing slept with many women before? At least not after knowing me. Baya couldn't tolerate Sujiran saying bad things about Gu Lingqing. Why not? Isn't Su Shaoling the one? They're engaged. Baya, don't be silly. It's impossible for you to be with him. Baya wanted to pull her hand out. Sujiran held it tightly and didn't want to let go. She bit down on his hand. Sujiran clenched his teeth. His face was frighteningly pale. His voice came out from between his teeth. The one who raped you was Gu Lingqing. Baya looked at Sujiran in surprise. There was a momentary emptiness in her beautiful eyes. She was stunned and frighteningly calm. It was as if her soul had been taken away. Sujiran looked at the bite mark between his thumb and index finger and looked at her coldly. You're lying, aren't you? Baya didn't believe him at all. Whether I'm lying or not, you just have to ask Gu Lingqing. Sujiran was very confident and calm. Impossible. Otherwise, why do you think he treats you so specially? Don't you think he's treating you with the intention of making it up to you? Sujiran said cruelly and let go of Baya's hand. Baya's shoulders drooped, and his eyes darted back and forth. In a daze, he furrowed his brows. Sujiran held Baya's shoulder. Baya cautiously pushed him away and retreated 2 meters away. His face was extremely pale. Baya, you are a very rational person. Why do you think you can attract Gu Lingqing's attention? There are many women around him who are more beautiful than you. Is it because of your personality? Sujiran said with a cold expression. Baya looked straight at him. Gu Lingqing likes passionate, lively, and cheerful girls. He wrote in his diary that he fell in love with Zhou Hailan. Do you think you are warm, lively, and cheerful? You are the opposite. Every word and sentence of Sujiran hit Baya's heart heavily. She felt that she couldn't bear it anymore. Her legs were weak and she sat on the sofa. Sujiran stood in front of her, and his shadow shrouded her. You should understand now. He treats you well because he hurt you. He thinks that all the harm I've done to you is caused by him. He is a very responsible person. You should also see his sense of responsibility. Baya looked down. Sujiran squatted in front of Baya and held Baya's cold hand. She was like a statue, not moving at all and sinking into deep thought. Baya, I've betrayed you, and you've betrayed me. We're even, okay. I still want to be with you. Give me a chance. I'll cherish you. I promise, Sujiran said in a gentle tone. Baya looked at Sujiran, and tears flowed from the corner of her eyes. If you and your girlfriend hadn't kidnapped me and left me in the wilderness, do you think I would have met that man? I just wanted to scare you. I didn't expect you to run away, Sujiran explained. I ran away, or was it my fault? Baya asked in return, and her eyes became colder. You're so resourceful that you've already found the man who raped me. What about my child? Where is my child? Have you found it? Didn't you beat that child? You gave birth to it. Su Jiran stood up anxiously and stared at Baiya. Baiya turned her face away. At first, she also thought that the child was snatched away by Su Jiran. Later, she found out that Su Jiran had always thought that she had aborted the child. There was a very coincidental thing. Although Bai Bing had been sent to the mental hospital, Baiya had still tried her best to get Bai Bing out. When Su Jiran found out that she was pregnant, he forced her to abort the child. Baiya used this as a condition to ask Su Jiran for help. She went to the hospital, hesitated, and happened to meet a student who didn't want others to know that she had an abortion. The student wrote the name Baiya. The doctor gave the student's embryo to Su Jiran. Su Jiran helped her bail Bai Bing out. She took Bai Bing outside to relax. Su Jiran ignored her. She gave birth to the child outside, but the child was snatched away within a week. Bai Bing also suffered a blow, and there was an incident of injury. From then on, she was locked up in the sanatorium, and it was impossible for her to be released again. Speak. Su Jiran was furious. The child is mine. I want to give birth to it. I can take good care of it. Baiya was also agitated. No wonder you were depressed during that period. I thought you were depressed because I asked you to abort the child. That was the child of a rapist. I didn't expect you to be depressed because the child was snatched away. Su Jiran walked out of the room angrily and slammed the door. Baiya was annoyed. She shouldn't have told Su Jiran about the child. What if he hurt the child? She was very annoyed. Zhou Ming came back and saw Baiya sitting on the sofa in a daze. What's wrong? Which city is Gu Lingqing in? Baiya asked with red eyes. How would we know about the chief's matter? Zhou Ming was very cautious. I know. Baiya called Gu Lingqing. Is it too late for you to come back now? It's a bit difficult. I have an appointment with someone tonight. I'll try to come tomorrow. Gu Lingqing looked at the time and said. No need. You go do your own thing first. Which city are you in now? Baiya asked. I'm in Jiangye City, which is next to Jinyang City. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing felt that Baiya's tone was not right. Nothing. See you tomorrow. Baiya hung up the phone. Now Gu Lingqing was still on the highway. He had an important task that night, and she didn't want to affect his mood. Baiya picked up her bag and said to Zhou Ming, I'll ask for leave tomorrow. Help me talk to the prosecutor's office. Where are you going? I'll go with you. Zhou Ming said worriedly. I'm going to look for your chief. Everything will be fine. I'll come back after seeing him tomorrow. Baiya knew that even if she didn't say it, Zhou Ming would still report it. There was no need to keep her in suspense. She went out and went to the bus station to buy a ticket to Jiangye City. While waiting for the bus, she bought a box of instant noodles at the bus station and ate it as dinner. She took the last bus to Jiangye City. It was 10:30 at night when she arrived. Chapter 123. That night, she tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Her memory returned to that night 3 years ago. She ran out of the room and was pulled over by a man. He was very strong and had great strength. He turned her around, held her lips, and penetrated her in a barbaric manner. There was no previous step at all, just like a ferocious beast. Gu Lingqing was very gentle to her. Every time, he would let her feel comfortable first before doing it with him. His patience was still very good, completely different from the man from 3 years ago. When he was having sex with her, she saw Su Jiran and that woman's car parked not far away, and they had sex in the car. She fainted from the pain, and when she woke up, she was still lying in the wilderness, and that man had escaped. Gu Lingqing was a very responsible person. She did not believe that it was Gu Lingqing who did it. Could it be Su Jiran's conspiracy? At 8:00 in the morning, Bai Ye had breakfast and was resting in bed. She sent a message to Gu Lingqing. I'm already in Jiangye City, at the Jiangye Hotel near the long-distance bus station. Contact me when you're free. Gu Lingqing's call came at 11:00. Bai Ye immediately sat up and picked up the call. I'll be there in half an hour. What's the room number? Gu Lingqing sounded a little tired. Bai Ye's heart ached. She really did not want to cause trouble for Gu Lingqing, but this matter was very important to her. She wanted to ask him face to face. 3:02, Bai Ye replied. Okay. Half an hour later, there was a knock on the door. Bai Ye opened the door, and Gu Lingqing stood at the door with a slight smile, looking very tired. Are you done with work? Bai Ye asked. Yeah, something happened yesterday, but it's nothing. What's wrong? With your personality, something must have happened when you came last night. Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye worriedly. Haven't you slept since last night? Bai Ye asked suspiciously. It doesn't matter. I didn't sleep for half a month when I was on a mission. Have you eaten yet? Why don't we eat together and talk about it over dinner? Gu Lingqing held her hand. Do you have anything to do in the afternoon? Bai Ye asked. I'll go there at 4:00. I have 5 hours to accompany you, Gu Lingqing answered patiently. If I don't come over, are you going to drive to my place and come back in an hour? Bai Ye frowned. I'll probably find someone to drive the car. I'll sleep in the car. I'll be sleeping anyway. I'll be able to be by your side while I'm sleeping. How nice. Bai Ye's heart fluctuated. She really couldn't believe that the man from 3 years ago was Gu Lingqing. Sleep for a while. I'll order takeout from Meituan. I'll call you for dinner when it's here. Sleep for a while and rest well before you start working. She picked up her phone and opened Meituan. Gu Lingqing looked down at her with a gentle gaze. Xiaoya, I'm very happy that you'll come here to look for me. Bai Ye paused and looked at Gu Lingqing. This won't make me feel that I'm the only one who cares about the relationship between us, Gu Lingqing said with a smile. Her heart trembled violently. She held her phone tighter and hesitated whether she should ask. The nicer he was to her, the more she couldn't bring herself to ask. Sleep with me for a while. Gu Lingqing hugged Bai Ye and lay on the bed. He closed his eyes. Bai Ye leaned against his chest and rested her head on his shoulder. She could feel the warmth of his body passing through her skin and into her blood. Gu Lingqing, no matter what you did to me in the past, no matter how bad it was, I'll forgive you. But, from now on, I don't want you to lie to me again. Of course, except for your military affairs. Is that okay? Bai Ye said. She waited for a while, but Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. She turned to look at him. He seemed to have fallen asleep. She looked at his handsome face. She couldn't reconcile it with the person who had raped her in the past. Forget it. If it was him, she believed that he had his reasons back then. He might have been carrying out a mission. If he had been the one holding her child, he would have carried the child out when his parents objected. He didn't. That proved that the child was not with him. His mission was very dangerous. She really didn't want to bother him with her matters. Bai Ye put her hand on his waist and fell asleep. She didn't know how long had passed. When Gu Lingqing moved, she opened her eyes. He looked at the time on his watch. It was already 16:00. Xiaoya, I have to go back now. I'll get someone to send you back to Jinyang City. Okay, complete your mission well. Don't worry about me. I have Zhou protecting me and so many people with you. I'll be fine, Baya said gently and sat up. He kissed her forehead. I'll rest after I'm done here. Okay. Baya got into the car. The driver was someone she had never seen before. He was wearing the uniform of an armed police officer. The car drove on the road. Baya looked at the unfamiliar city. The city seemed to be warmer because of him. Suddenly, the driver braked. Baya knocked into the chair in front of her. She looked outside and asked, "What happened?" "I think we hit someone." "I'll go and take a look," the police officer said. He opened the door and got out of the car. Baya heard a bang. Before she could react, a few people wearing masks and holding guns got into the car. "Who are you?" Baya was surprised. Many thoughts flashed through her mind. Could it be that Gu Lingqing's parents knew that they were together? Or were they Su Xiaoling's people? "What do you want?" "I can give you money." "Let me out of the car," Baya asked anxiously. "Shut up," the man wearing a pig mask said. He picked up a handkerchief and pressed it under Baya's nose. Baya wanted to hold her breath, but it was too late. She fainted. When she woke up, there was a lot of noise and the lights were very bright. She opened her eyes. The lights were very bright. She closed them again. Her hands and feet were tied to the table. "Do you dare to have sex with Gu Lingqing's woman?" a fat man shouted. He pointed a gun at a bearded man. "If you do it, I'll believe that you're the chief. Otherwise, don't try to lie to me." "Gu Lingqing's woman. Let's have a good taste of her. Send her to her room." An unusually hoarse voice sounded. "Do it. Do it here." "Are you from the F*King military?" the bald man shouted. Baya saw the bearded man walk in front of her. His eyes were very small, and he was wearing a pair of glasses. His face was full of beard. He picked up a knife. Baya's mind was blank. She only felt that the knife was very sharp. "Don't come over. Don't touch me," Baya said in fear. Her current memory overlapped with that of 3 years ago. The bearded man took out a knife and cut the ropes on Baya's hands and feet. Baya slapped the bearded man's face. Chapter 124. Baya fell on the wooden board with a thud. She watched as the bearded man took off his suit and shirt, revealing the vest underneath. There was a scar on his arm. According to her medical judgment, judging from the degree of healing, it should be yesterday's injury. He walked towards her like a hunter. Baya was scared and her body was trembling. "Don't come near me, don't come near me." The bearded man approached Baya step by step. She didn't want to die. She still wanted to be with Gu Lingqing. But if she was tainted, she would rather die. She didn't know how to face Gu Lingqing. Baya turned around and bumped into the wall. Before she could touch the wall, she was grabbed by the bearded man and pressed on the bed. Baya wanted to die and wriggled like crazy. The man pressed her legs. She couldn't move. "Ah!" Baya screamed. The bearded man unbuttoned her trousers and pulled them down. Baya pulled her hand out and pressed on the injured area. Blood flowed down from his arm. The man pressed her hands on both sides of her body and looked down at her. Baya stared at the bearded man. She wasn't even afraid of death. Why should she be afraid of him? She bumped her head against his. The bearded man dodged. Baya took the opportunity to take the dagger that he had thrown beside the bed. She didn't even think and slashed at her neck. The bearded man grabbed the sharp edge of the dagger and pulled it away. He pressed Baya's hands with one hand, tore off her pants and tied her wrists. "Ah!" Baya's eyes were bloodshot. She couldn't move and was at her wit's end. Humiliation, despair, living a life worse than death. She bit her tongue. Biting one's tongue to commit suicide was because there were many blood vessels on the tongue. Biting off one's tongue would cause unbearable pain and excessive blood loss. She didn't want to do nothing. Now, if she died, at least she would be unyielding and keep her position in Gu Lingqing's heart. Otherwise, she would not be able to face him. When the bearded man saw Bai Ye's actions, panic flashed in his eyes as he pressed down on Bai Ye's chin. His strength was too great, and she was forced to open her mouth. Her tongue had already been bitten, and blood was flowing out. The bearded man frowned and kissed her lips. Ah! Bai Ye struggled desperately and hit the back of his head. He pressed down on Bai Ye's forehead and kissed her ear. Xiaoya, I'm Gu Lingqing. There's a surveillance camera in the room. I'll explain it to you after we go out. Now pretend to be unconscious. Gu Lingqing's voice is lowered and rings in her ear. Bai Ye's soul suffered 100 points of impact, and he closed his eyes. The storm in his mind assaulted him. She used to think that it was impossible for Gu Lingqing to be the one who raped her 3 years ago. Now that she thought about it, maybe it was really him 3 years ago. He was on a mission like this. She didn't know that he hurt her because of Gu Lingqing. She fell asleep in a daze. Gu Lingqing lay next to her and sent a message. Boss, Chief sent a message, the bald man shouted excitedly. Did you cut it off? The bald man asked his men who were staring at the computer. Yes, Chief said, I played with Gu Lingqing's woman today. Have you finished your plan? If Gu Lingqing catches me, I'll be crippled even if I don't die. Boss, what should we do? Ignore him, or he'll expose himself, the bald man said. I think he's fine, the bald man analyzed. We'll observe him tonight and see the boss. He's with the boss. This is a serious matter and we can't afford any mistakes, the bald man said cautiously. Chapter 125. After a long time, Bai Ye woke up, opened her eyes, and saw Gu Lingqing sleeping next to her. She frowned. If she pretended not to know Gu Lingqing, she should have left secretly at this time. She didn't dare to go out, worried that Baldy's men were outside. If she was caught by Baldy's men, things would be worse. She deliberately turned over Gu Lingqing's hand and touched his body. Gu Lingqing woke up alertly, held her hand, and pressed it on the bed. Let go of me. Bai Ye said, her voice was not as sharp as before. Gu Lingqing took a pill and threw it into Bai Ye's mouth. What did you give me to eat? Bai Ye's eyes widened. He kissed her lips. Bai Ye knew that Gu Lingqing wouldn't hurt her. She was saving him. But the fear of the unknown burned her tense nerves. Her body felt strangely hot. Gu Lingqing put her ankle on his shoulder and wanted to have sex with her. However, she didn't take off her clothes from beginning to end. Baldy stared at the moving Gu Lingqing on the screen and cleared his throat. Damn it, he's having fun, and I'm watching. If I'm not happy, I'll go out and find a woman. Boss, do you still want to watch over here? Baldy's men asked. Do as you see fit. Baldy was relieved of Gu Lingqing, and drove away. Hearing the sound of the car downstairs, Gu Lingqing's tense nerves relaxed a little. 10 minutes later, his phone rang and he hung up. Gu Lingqing knew in his heart. The sound meant that the surveillance was still on, but he wasn't watching the surveillance. He had to keep Bai Ye in his room, otherwise, it would be difficult for him to protect her when there were a bunch of impatient beasts outside. Bai Ye had yet to recover. His body was limp, and his eyes were half closed as he collapsed on the bed. He tied up Bai Ye and found a blind spot of the surveillance camera. Then, he lowered his voice and said, "We'll leave at 10 a.m. tomorrow to meet their boss. You'll be pawned, and I'll leave 2 men to protect you. Don't be afraid." Baiya was exhausted. He blinked his eyes to show that he understood. "Just bear with it for 1 night. I found out that their boss is Miller. He was the one who planted the bombs during the Blue Wolf exercise. Now he has a lot of weapons of mass destruction in his hands. I have to deal with them," Gu Lingqing explained. Baiya knew. He blinked his eyes again and closed them. Gu Lingqing handcuffed their wrists together and covered them with a quilt. Baiya held Gu Lingqing's hand. He also held her hand with a bit more strength. At the hotel in the morning, someone knocked on the door. Gu Lingqing woke up. He opened his eyes and met Baiya's eyes. She frowned. Before she could say anything, Gu Lingqing taped her mouth. The more he said, the more mistakes he would make. Saying nothing was the safest. He handcuffed her to the bed. "Open the door." "Boss, how did you sleep last night? We should leave soon." The bald man looked at Baiya in the room. His eyes were filled with evil intentions. "Don't let this woman go first. We'll celebrate after we're done. When I'm tired of playing with her, I'll throw her to you," Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. The bald man's gaze became more flirtatious. "You've played with her for the whole night. You're still not tired of her. The important thing is not the technique, but whose woman is she? Xiaowu, keep an eye on her. Don't let her escape. If she escapes, you guys can forget about living," Gu Lingqing ordered his men. "Yes, boss. I'll change my clothes." Gu Lingqing turned around and went into the bathroom. He brushed his teeth, washed his face, changed his clothes, looked deeply at Baiya, and went out. Baiya knew that he was going to see their boss. His situation was even more dangerous than hers. If he completed his mission, she would be able to escape unscathed. If he didn't complete his mission, she would probably be in danger too. As time ticked by, her nerves didn't relax for even a moment. 3 hours later, she heard a series of explosions. Bang, bang, bang. Xiaowu rushed into the room and untied Baiya. "What happened to him?" Baiya asked worriedly. "Hurry up and leave with me," Xiaowu said and pulled Baiya out. Baiya saw Xiaowu's serious expression. "What happened? Where's Gu Lingqing? Did he complete his mission?" "Don't ask. This isn't something you should know." "Leave," Xiaowu said coldly. Baiya pulled her hand out and asked defensively, "Where's Gu Lingqing? Where is he now?" "I don't know. I just received a notice to bring you away immediately. The chief will contact you after he escapes unscathed. Please leave with me now." "Don't drag the chief down," Xiaowu said seriously. Baiya thought about it and agreed. If the bald man caught her, she would drag Gu Lingqing into trouble. She quickly followed Xiaowu and got into Xiaowu's car. Xiaowu drove very fast and sent her back to Jinyang City. Baiya held her phone tightly and waited for Gu Lingqing's call. However, it had been more than 3 hours since she arrived at Jinyang City. Gu Lingqing still hadn't called. She had a bad feeling. Logically speaking, an hour after the explosion, Gu Lingqing should be safe. Could something have happened to him? "Can you contact your colleagues? I want to know about Gu Lingqing's situation," Baiya asked Xiaowu worriedly. Xiaowu didn't say anything. Baiya was a little angry. She called Gu Lingqing. "I'm sorry, the number you have dialed is not available." She was at her wit's end. "Please ask him. I'm worried about Gu Lingqing's safety. I won't disturb you anymore once I'm sure he's safe." Xiaowu glanced at Baiya and said coldly, "It's a military secret. You can't ask about it. The chief will contact you. Baya knew it was useless to ask again. She looked out of the window worriedly. Xiaowu sent Baya to the entrance of the hotel and left. Baya returned to her room. Zhou Min was there. She saw that Baya's clothes were wrinkled and asked worriedly, "What happened?" Baya saw Zhou Min and her hope was ignited. She held Zhou Min's shoulder and asked, "Can you contact Gu Lingqing now?" "I'll try." Zhou Min saw that Baya wasn't in a good mood, so she made the call. Baya looked at Zhou Min anxiously. There's no one on the chief's side. Usually, it's not convenient for the chief to answer the call. He might be in a meeting or on a mission, Zhou Min said. Meeting? It doesn't seem like it. He knows that I'm looking for him. I'm worried about him. After the mission is completed, he should tell me. It's even more unlikely that he's on a mission. It's been more than 3 hours since the explosion. The mission should be completed by now, right? Baya said to herself. I'll ask my comrades. Don't worry. Zhou Min was also anxious after hearing what Baya said. She kept making calls. Chapter 126. Baya sat on the sofa and waited for Gu Lingqing's news. She waited for the whole night. She didn't dare to sleep. She was afraid that she would miss Gu Lingqing's call if she fell asleep. In fact, she couldn't sleep at all. She couldn't be at ease if she didn't get any news about Gu Lingqing. 3 days and 3 nights passed just like that. She was exhausted and didn't want to eat. She curled up on the sofa and looked at her phone. Zhou Min felt sorry for her. Baya, eat some food and sleep for a while. I'll keep an eye on you. I'll tell you immediately when the chief calls. If you fall sick, the chief will feel sorry for you. Baya stared at her phone and didn't say anything. Her eyes were empty and weak. Actually, no news is good news, right? Eat some. Zhou Min squatted in front of Baya. Something must have happened to Gu Lingqing. If nothing happened to him, he wouldn't have left me alone. There's no news at all, Baya said with certainty. It had been 3 days. There was no news at all in 3 days. This was unusual in itself. Zhou Min actually felt that something had happened to Gu Lingqing. Why don't you call the chief's parents? They must know what's going on. Zhou Min's words reminded Baya. A bright light lit up in her dim eyes. She didn't want to be with Gu Lingqing now. She just wanted Gu Lingqing to be safe and sound. She dialed Song Shiyu's number. Song Shiyu answered. Hello, I'm Baya. Baya sat up nervously. Yes, I know. Song Shiyu's voice was very calm. I want to know, is Gu Lingqing okay? Baya asked directly. Song Shiyu was silent for a while. I just want to know if he's okay. Baya frowned. She was afraid that Song Shiyu wouldn't tell her. Song Shiyu took a deep breath. He completed his mission with flying colors. He wiped out the enemies and destroyed all their dangerous weapons. However, he suffered a brain injury during the fight with the enemies. He fell into the sea and swam back desperately. In the end, he drowned in the sea and suffered from a lack of oxygen for a long time. His condition is very serious. Take care. Baya's eyes instantly turned red, and tears rolled down her cheeks. She knew that something had happened to him. Are you out of danger yet? Baya asked, choking with sobs. If he died, she would not live alone. Yes, but his brain is damaged and he can't remember many things. I think he probably doesn't recognize you anymore. Perhaps, this is a good chance for him to completely walk out of your life. You're safe and the relationship between you two is over, Song Shiyu said gently. Baya, her mind went blank. It was as if she had slowly descended from heaven. She saw the most beautiful scenery in the world, but she was getting further and further away from it. Was it a fluke, a regret, a reluctance, or... Actually, this was the best possible outcome. Song Shiyu hung up the phone. Baya was still standing there coldly, as if she had lost her soul. Baya, what's wrong? Don't scare me. Zhou Min supported Baya. Baya pushed Zhou Min away and walked out of the room. She didn't know where she wanted to go. She just didn't want to stay in the room and do nothing. Zhou Min was afraid that something would happen to Baya, so she kept following behind Baya. Baya walked unconsciously. She walked from dawn to dusk and sat on the stone bench. The moon was bright tonight, and there were many stars. She went from having nothing to having Guling Qing. She had already had a good dream, hadn't she? Everyone should wake up from their dreams and recognize the reality. If she kept dreaming and refused to wake up, she would only become crazy. At least, he was still alive. Without Baya, Guling Qing would live a better life. He would have no worries, be energetic, and move forward bravely towards a bright future without any worries. Without Guling Qing, Baya would also live a good life. Finally, she returned to the right path of life. Baya went back. She brushed her teeth, washed up, had dinner, and slept. The next day, she returned to work. Work, eat, sleep, everything was normal. Except that she didn't say anything. One night after half a month, Zhou Min answered the phone. She knocked on the door of Baya's room with a bad expression. Baya opened the door. Baya, the chief has returned to the army. He completed the mission to eliminate the terrorists and was awarded this morning. He is already a lieutenant general. Baya listened to Zhou Min and was very calm. She expected it. But, according to reliable sources, the chief seems to have lost part of his memory. We can't go back. Zhou Min frowned. What do you mean? What do you mean you can't go back? Baya didn't understand. Back then, the chief specially selected a team of people from the special forces to help you. We are directly under the chief, and our files in the military were temporarily deleted. Now, only the top secret department has our files. The top secret department is a very secretive organization. None of us know where it is. Now that the chief has lost his memory, it means we can't go back. Zhou Min lowered her head in despair. Besides you, who else? Baya realized the seriousness of the matter. She had harmed a team of people. It didn't matter what happened to her now. But what about the soldiers? 2 of them are now negotiating with the antique dealer. 2 of them are now following Luliang City 24 hours a day. Another 2 are investigating the manager of the construction company. There are 7 of us. I'm fine, I have a salary. They have nothing now, no direction, and no goal. What should we do in the future? Zhou Min was also at a loss. It started because of me. I will definitely find a way to let you go back to the team. Don't worry. Baya called Song Shiyu. After 5 rings, Song Shiyu answered the phone. What's the matter? Song Shiyu's voice was deep. Sorry to disturb you, Mrs. Song. It's like this. Before the accident, Chief Gu sent a secret team to carry out the mission. He deleted the information of those people, but their information is in the top secret department. I think we should let them go back to the team. Baya said gently. She tried not to put pressure on Song Shiyu. The top secret department of every national organization is independent. No one knows where it is. I don't know either. Lingqing's father doesn't know either. I'm afraid there's nothing I can do. How about this? How many people are there in total? I will give each of them 500,000 yuan as a subsidy. They don't need to go back to the team, and you don't need to call me in the future. Song Shiyu said directly. Bai Ye was silent for a while. Since Mrs. Song wants to use money as a subsidy, let's give each of them 1 million yuan. There are 7 of them, Bai Ye said calmly. Chapter 127. What did she say? Zhou Min asked worriedly. She said that every secret archive room is different. Gu Lingqing's father doesn't know where it is in the military. Other than the person in charge, no one knows where it is. She gave each of you 1 million as compensation, Bai Ye said. Does that mean we can't go back for the rest of our lives? Zhou Min frowned. Gu Lingqing might suddenly regain his memory one day, or you can re-enter the military. Or, you can re-enter the military region. I believe that with your excellence, you will definitely succeed again, Bai Ye advised. Zhou Min lowered her eyes. She was capable, strong, and invincible, but she was suddenly dispirited. I need to discuss it with them. Good luck, Bai Ye said apologetically. They were like this because of her. She felt bad, but there was nothing she could do. As a soldier, honor was the most important thing. Everything they had done in the past was negated. If they were in their shoes, they would definitely be sad. Bai Ye closed the door and lay on the bed. She didn't fall asleep again. In the morning, she got up, brushed her teeth, washed up, and opened the door. Zhou Min stood at the door with 6 soldiers. Bai Ye was shocked again. She looked at Zhou Min. What's wrong? We had a meeting last night and made a decision. Our previous mission was to find the culprit of the Tangqian village massacre case. We haven't completed our mission yet, so we'll continue. Now that the chief has temporarily forgotten about us, we'll listen to your instructions from now on, Zhou Min said on behalf of everyone. Bai Ye glanced at everyone's faces. They looked at her expressionlessly, but they also looked dignified. It was a terrifying thing for a person to lose their life goal. She couldn't refuse. Let's work hard together, Bai Ye cheered them on. We're not afraid of hard work, suffering, bleeding, or sweating. We'll move forward with determination towards our goal, the 7 soldiers said in unison. Bai Ye felt her blood boiling in her body. This was the direction she had finally found after half a month. She was also like a walking corpse in the past. Gu Lingqing might forget her and these comrades forever, but they wouldn't forget their duty. And she should be responsible for them. Life was tense but orderly. Gu Lingqing had completely left her life. There was no chance or possibility for them to meet. Due to the special nature of Gu Lingqing's work, she rarely heard news about him. At the end of the year, after a long period of surveillance, tracking, and negotiation, they finally found Luliang City's lover. She was also the younger sister of the CEO of Xinjiang Construction Company, and the manager of Xinjiang Construction Company was the younger brother of Lu Liang's lover. Prosecutor Bai, we now have concrete evidence to prove that the manager of Xinjiang Construction Company is related to the person who smuggled the antiques. We also have concrete evidence to prove that Luliang City and Yinwan have an abnormal relationship. Should we make a move? Zhou Min asked cautiously. Luliang City sold the land to Xinjiang Construction Company at a normal price. Xinjiang Construction Company excavated the cultural relics and sold them. This has nothing to do with Luliang City. Luliang City's account was clean. Just based on the fact that he stayed at Yinwan's place, it was not enough to prove that they had done something they shouldn't have. If we launch a surprise attack and don't find Luliang City's treasury, we will only alert the enemy. Send the photos of Luliang City and Yinwan to Luliang City's wife and continue to monitor them, Bai Ye ordered. Yes. Prosecutor Bai, are you going home this new year? Zhou Min asked with concern. Bai Ye paused and shook her head. Tell the brothers not to work too hard. Those who should go home, and those who should reunite should go home. And Zhou Min responded and went out to do her work. Bai Ye walked to the sky garden and looked up at the sky. The moon was very bright, carrying the coldness of the moon palace. The cold wind blew across her skin. Her face was almost numb from the cold. What was Gu Lingqing doing now? Was he working? Or had he reunited with his family? There was a knock on the door. Bai Ye walked back to the room and gathered her clothes. Looking through the peephole, she saw a waiter holding a bouquet of roses in her hand. Bai Ye opened the door suspiciously. Su Jiran walked over from the side and said with a smile, Bai Ye, it's been a long time. Meeting is not as good as reminiscing. Bai Ye closed the door coldly. Su Jiran pushed Bai Ye's door. I brought news about Gu Lingqing. Don't you want to hear it? I don't want to. I'm going to rest. My roommate should be back soon. Please forgive me for not being able to receive you, Bai Ye said resolutely. Gu Lingqing's memory has been restored, Su Jiran said. Bai Ye's eyes paused and looked at Su Jiran. It's been restored to 5 or 6 years ago, the day Zhou Hailan got into trouble. Do you know what this means? Su Jiran smiled. His smile was very cold, with a harsh ice blade. Bai Ye didn't want to hear it anymore. She wanted to close the door, but she couldn't. She turned around, and Su Jiran walked in. This means that, for him, the most painful thing is not parting with you, but with Zhou Hailan, Su Jiran continued. Are you done? Bai Ye was impatient. Tell me, isn't it your good luck? He refused to marry Su Shaoling no matter what. He's still immersed in the pain of losing Zhou Hailan, Su Jiran said sarcastically. Su Jiran, you also said that it's impossible for me and Gu Lingqing. I'm not a person who refuses to wake up from a dream. From now on, no matter good or bad, I don't want to know anything about him. Bai Ye turned her face away and sat on the sofa. Su Jiran looked at her, and his eyes softened. He sat opposite her. Are you going home for Chinese New Year this year? That's not my home. I'm going there because I hope that my work will be easier in the future. You don't need to rely on Xing Bachuan. There are also ways to make your work easier. For example, continue to be my wife. I promise you, you can have everything you want. Why do you have to bury yourself in this poor and remote place? Bai Ye listened to Su Jiran's words and found it funny. Su Jiran, are you in love with me? Bai Ye asked. Su Jiran's eyes darkened. After we divorced, I haven't touched another woman. I'll make it up to you for what I owe you in the past. I mean it this time. I swear on my father's name. Bai Ye was very calm. Su Jiran, find a woman and live a good life. Have a child of your own and enjoy the happiness of a family. You and I aren't suitable for each other. I won't believe in love anymore. I just want to be single for the rest of my life. What if I say that I found your child who was taken away? Su Jiran looked at Bai Ye's expression. Bai Ye stood up in shock. She was a little agitated and asked a few questions in a row. You found my child. Where is my child? How is he now? Chapter 128. Bai Ye had never thought about this question. If she took the child to look for Gu Lingqing, would Gu Lingqing admit it? Would Gu Lingqing's parents admit it? Gu Lingqing didn't know her anymore. Would he hate her? If they didn't admit it, what should she do? Her mind went blank for a moment. She couldn't answer him. Su Jiran sneered, stood up, gathered his clothes, and said coldly, "Don't worry, I didn't find your child, so it's absolutely impossible for you and Gu Lingqing." Su Jiran turned around and walked towards the door of her room. Bai Yi stared at Su Jiran's back. She felt that Su Jiran should have found it, but he didn't want to tell her. He wouldn't hurt her child, would he? There was a flash of panic in Bai Yi's eyes. She said anxiously, "If you find my child, I will marry you. I won't look for Gu Lingqing. Even if Gu Lingqing and I have a child, it's impossible for us to be together. They won't admit this child." Su Jiran turned around and looked at Bai Yi deeply. He raised the corner of his lips. "Then I'll try my best to find it. I hope you won't go back on your word." Su Jiran opened the door and walked out. Bai Yi sat back on the sofa, pinched the bridge of her nose, and closed her eyes. Where was her and Gu Lingqing's child? Her phone rang. She saw that it was a call from Lu Shuang, and there was a trace of warmth in her cold heart from a friend far away. She answered the phone. "Xiao Bai, are you back for the new year?" Lu Shuang seemed to have a cold, and his voice was buzzing. Bai Yi didn't plan to go back, but her friends and her mother were still in City A. She should go back and see them. "After a while, when the prosecutor's office releases me, I'll come back. When I come back, I'll treat you to a meal. Let's get together." Bai Yi said softly, "Cool girl, I miss you." "I miss you too. By the way, I'm now working as a doctor in the special military. Yesterday, I met Gu Lingqing by chance. How come he doesn't seem to recognize me?" Lu Shuang was surprised. "Cool girl, we're already in the past. Don't mention me in front of him," Bai Yi instructed. "I also want to have a chance to see him. He is now a lieutenant general and has a lot of meetings every day. If I want to see him, he will be the one speaking on the stage. Even if he got off the stage and bumped into them on the road, there were many rules in the military. He couldn't get close to them. There were so many people around him, so he couldn't get close to them." Lu Shuang said helplessly. "How is he now?" Bai Yi couldn't help but ask. "He's doing quite well. He solved a huge firearms case and was seriously injured. After he recovered, he was awarded a medal. His career has been soaring." "Did his brain get damaged during the injury?" Lu Shuang guessed. "I think so. It's quite good. He has returned to the right path of life, and I have also returned to the right path of life," Bai Yi said lightly. Except that she had already left her heart with that person. "We'll contact each other when you come back. I have a lot of things to tell you." "I can't wait to see you," Lu Shuang said and hung up. Bai Yi lay on the sofa and hugged herself with both hands. Inexplicably, her nose felt sour and astringent. An important part of her heart was missing. She felt lonely. On the night of the third day before the prosecutor's office holiday, the chief invited everyone to dinner. Bai Yi's inaction in the past 6 months was the greatest achievement for the chief. "Prosecutor Bai, will you come back after the new year?" the chief asked tentatively. "I should come back. As for when I'll be transferred back, it depends on the arrangements." "I should be back soon," Bai Yi said with a smile. "Prosecutor Bai is quite responsible. If you weren't sent here to supervise, would really wish that you were someone from our office," the chief said respectfully. Bai Yi smiled. "Let's work hard together." She drank a lot tonight. Maybe it was because she was in a bad mood. Halfway through the meal, Bai Yi went out for a breath of fresh air. She went to the branch area and looked at the wooden trays. The wooden sign that she and Gu Lingqing had written had long been submerged in other people's wooden signs. Thinking about the past, it was quite childish. The more beautiful the promise, the more it showed the current sadness. She wanted to find her own wooden tray, take it out and throw it away. But there were too many wooden trays. She was completely submerged in the wooden trays. Go, don't let anyone come over. I want to be alone. A familiar voice was heard. Baya paused for a moment and looked at Gu Lingqing, who was standing in front of Lian Lizzie. His face was cool and his eyes were sharp. When he looked at the wooden trays, apart from coldness, there was also ruthlessness and alienation. Who is it? Gu Lingqing realized that there was someone behind the tree and looked over sharply. Baya was surprised to see him here. She came back to her senses and walked out with her head lowered. She explained, I hung a wooden tray on the tree previously. I didn't want to hang it on the tree, so I wanted to find it. Gu Lingqing didn't even look at her and waved his hand. Baya's heart sank. It was as if it had sunk to the bottom of an unfathomable valley. He really didn't know her. He didn't even have any impression of her. Her mind was blank as she walked out slowly. She had a lot of gold under her feet. So heavy that she couldn't lift her feet. She still felt indignant. When she walked to the door, she turned around and looked at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing rode a wooden tray and hung it on the tree. On the wooden tray was written, Hailan, I miss you so much. Baya felt that there was a knife stabbing into her heart. She didn't even have a chance to breathe. She staggered a step back and held the door frame to support her body. Her eyes were covered with tears. Tears rolled down from the corners of her eyes. She stared at Gu Lingqing in her blurred vision. The betrayal of her body was more of anger. The betrayal of her heart was hysterical pain. The pain made her want to escape quickly. Baya rushed out of the full moon restaurant, stumbling. She didn't know what she had done wrong. She fell in love with Su Jiran and wanted to live a good life with him, but she was never cherished. She fell in love with Gu Lingqing and wanted to be duty-bound, but she didn't even have the qualification to be duty-bound. She wanted a home, a place she could go back to. However, God was hurting her more and more. Did he not want her to live? Baya looked at the car passing by. Her eyes flashed with determination. She rushed to the car. The car turned the steering wheel and passed by her. It didn't stop and drove past. The other cars deliberately avoided her. She looked around in a daze. Tears flowed down. She wanted to drain all the blood in her heart. In this way, would it not hurt anymore? Would she not feel the despair of living a life worse than death? She regained some rationality. Even if she was going to die, she couldn't hurt others. She pressed her heart and walked back to the hotel step by step. She didn't know how she came back. She lay on the bed and looked at the air with dull eyes. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.